एकदम कोसिस गर्नेछौँ।
Тал нутгийн аваргуудын хүчийг удахгүй мэдрүүлнэ та нарт.
र म चाहिँ र हाम्रो टिम चाहिँ के भन्न चाहन्छ भन्दाखेरि सबै टिमलाई हामी चाहिँ कोहीसँग डराउँदैनौँ र हामी आउँदैछौँ सबैजनालाई एलिमिनेट गर्न।
فإذا عقليتك قوية ما راح يفرق بين الفوز والخسارة ولا أنا لعبك طلعك السريع.
السلام عليكم، معكم الشارقو من فريق كريبتكس المغربي، أحد ممثلي الشرق الأوسط في بطولة PMGC.
Hello everyone, I'm Raouf from Nigma Galaxy, originally from Algeria.
بإذن الله جايين هالموسم عشان نحقق المركز الأول في الشرق.
I really admire the Chinese team, Nova Esports.
أتوقع أن تيمات جنوب شرق آسيا والتيمات الصينية تيمات قوية، وإحنا مو تيم ضعيف وكريبتكس قد التحدي بالبطولة.
I think the first team in East League might be a Chinese team, but the finals are guaranteed to no one.
مثل ما قال نجم كريكسي الليج مو نفس الأول بالفاينل، الفاينل أهم، ومع قوة الفرق الشرقية هدفنا نسيده.
These goals are too conservative. Our main goal is to win the finals and be top one.
الكلام الكثير ما له فايدة. إذا بدكم تثبتوا حالكم اثبتوه على خريطة إيرانجل.
I think our mentality is fine. It might be easy to get ahead of ourselves, and we lost some games in Season 2 as a result, but we will not make those mistakes again. And I think we're mentally stronger than any other team.
العقلية قوية مهمة، لكن قدرة اللاعب الفردية هي تحدد بين الفوز والخسارة.
بما أنه نحكي عن عقليات، عقلية تيمنا كثير قوية وما راح نخسرها على الفاينل وما خايفين من الخسارة، وأنا واثق كثير من تيمي أنه راح نسوي شيء بالفاينل.
فإذا عقليتك قوية ما راح يفرق بين الفوز والخسارة ولا أنا لعبك طلعك السريع.
Nice.
You need to trust your teammates, but when it comes to teamwork, we can show you how it's done.
داخل الجيم أكيد راح نتصادم مع الفرق الثانية، وأتوقع راح يكون في كر وفر بينه وبين الفرق الآسيوية، ولكن أنا متحمس لتدميرهم مرة ثانية.
تاكتيك شبه الفرق اليابانية والكورية قوي، لكن الشيء اللي يفرق داخل الجيم هو المهارات القتالية، وكريبتكس ما راح يرحم أي فريق.
كريبتكس وين؟
RC, they've lost a man, made that 2, now a 2v2, and somehow TGB, they're answering back, and bear in mind, never mind, RC are gonna get wiped out in a blink of an eye. How did that even happen? TJP, that was a 2 versus 4 Imperium, a 2v4, and they still somehow clutch it out.
I mean, Jason was talking about it when we were watching this game about how this is somewhat similar to what they were doing in PMGC for last season, and yeah, I would have to agree. It's just they feel so confident in this type of lobby that they're making it through. I think that I'm going to quote Suk, and I'm pretty sure he did say this at one point in the past tournament, where he said qualifying in the Chinese region to PMGC is complicated. PMGC itself is easy, and when you see Nova go for plays like this, like it really shows that is their mentality coming into this tournament. They are feeling super confident coming into this.
And right now they're sitting on 12 and what should be 14 kills and a chicken dinner unless Mela does something truly ludicrous. Divine going for the res duello, keeping Mela at bay, out in the open, gets caught out, and Team Reject, they get their chicken dinner.
Oh my god, Reject!
Another team that's going to stand out, and I'll leave it open to you two to actually talk about whichever wants to take it. Reject, Japan. We talked about Blue Bees, we talked about how they did last year, and we knew this year they had much better infrastructure going into PUBG Mobile. So happy, at least for me, to see them end up in 4th place.
Still haven't seen him liquid. Oh, just spotted the Divine. He's gonna pounce. That's the first knock. Looking for the second one as well. And Divine's doing everything by his lonesome. Spot the third player too. Need to be careful because the player right underneath him, and he will be brought down. But backup has arrived as Reject looking to make quick work of BTR, and quick work indeed it will be. That is gonna be the squad wipe, beg your pardon. And goodbye, good night, BTR.
They'll have easily punched their ticket into the Super Weekend. Tony K, that was an unfortunate run.
I would say though, I mean, over time, teams I feel like maybe getting some experience, like trying to adapt to the lobby, to acclimate to the lobby, I think is probably the appropriate term. I hope for the likes of, VTR, Dam1, VC Swell, and FaZe Clan, that they're watching very intently across these 3 days of the Super Weekend. The thing is, for them, it's really hard to practice.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration and the first steps. I am the Oneplus 9.
PUBG Mobile fans around the world, welcome to the 2021 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. To the top teams across all regions, we have a message for you. The Middle East, you have proven your worth. Now, make your formidable debut on the PMGC stage. South Korea, forget the past. This year, show the world you've ascended. Remind the world of South Korea's raw talent. Japan, you came so close last year. But what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Bring it back better than ever. The Americas, you're the alpha dogs that dominated the West. Now, lead the pack on the world stage. Southeast Asia, you took down so many strong teams on your journey to the top. It's time for a comeback on the global stage. Europe, it's now or never. Push your limits and surprise us all. This is the moment to create your legacy. South Asia, you were the dark horse of 2020. Amaze those who would underestimate you again. China, you carry the crown of last year's PMGC. Now, with everyone's eyes on you once more, can you secure back-to-back victories? PMGC needs a champion. The world needs a champion. Who will stand victorious in the end? Who will be next to glory?
Hello, PUBG Mobile fans. It's almost time to bring together the world's top teams for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021. This year's PMGC has a total prize pool of $6 million for teams and players, and tons of great rewards for our fans as well. PMGC will consist of 2 stages, League and Grand Finals. The League phase will last from November 30th to December 24th. During the League phase, teams from the Americas and Europe will compete in the West League, while teams from Asia and the Middle East will compete in the East League. Each league, 20 teams will compete on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for 16 slots to compete on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in that week's Super Weekend. The total Super Weekend scores over the first 3 weeks will determine which 16 teams will compete in the PMGC League Finals during the final week. The top 9 teams from the East League Finals, the top 6 teams from the West League Finals, and a special invited team will advance to the PMGC Grand Finals. The PMGC Grand Finals, which will take place on January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, will determine the PMGC 2021 Global Champions. Who will be the next to glory? Don't miss a single minute of exciting PMGC action.
Out there watching from home, from around the world, or wherever you might be. If you're at school, well, you know what, kudos to you for watching, but you should probably focus on what your teacher is teaching you. We are here now for our 3rd and final week of the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 East League, and we're kicking off into our league play. And you know what this means: 20 teams competing, top 16 get through into the Super Weekend where the points are going to matter. But gentlemen, as I'm joined by Maxman and Tarzan, we have to really start to dive into this one, considering we have so many teams towards the top of the table in our overall standings. that technically don't really need to requalify. So will they try to play spoilers? Maxman, you talked about 6-2-8. You talked about how they really want to focus on reject. It's a very real possibility that we could see that happen here today.
Yeah, I mean, Reject are seen as a threat for a lot of these teams coming into it because they popped off really hard at the start of the tournament, right? But you mentioned another one actually on the desk yesterday. I believe it was Genesis Dogma dropping on BTR, which could be also an interesting one. You got so many teams that are not safe at the bottom, so maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow at the end of this third league play, things could get a little bit dicey for some of these teams.
Yeah, and Tarzan, you have teams like, well, for instance, BC Swell, who have not qualified for a single Super Weekend. And at the moment, they are sitting about 119 points behind 16th place. But obviously, that goalpost is going to continue to move if we see the likes of those teams re-qualifying into this next Super Weekend. It's going to be tough for some of these teams, and it's going to be very difficult for others.
I mean, they just need to know what teams to target, right? They want to make it into the last Super Weekend while they create like the situation where some teams will only, enter one Super Weekend. So they need to look at the bottom of the table and maybe start punishing those teams. And I think it is quite a possibility out there because they've tried other ways. Apparently it didn't work. Try a new way to really target teams so the mathematical possibilities on your side. So that is something that I want to see in the macro.
Oh, if you guys have missed out on the very first 2 weeks of play, I still have to ask you, where the hell have you been? Just to catch you guys up and get you up to speed, we have 2 days of our league play, which leads into our Super Weekend. To get there, you have to be top 16 at the end of your 8 matches throughout those 2 days. And then while you're the Super Weekend, you get points that stick around throughout the 3 weeks, but this is your last chance to get points. At the end of those 3 weeks, if you're at the top 16 in points of all the teams who have qualified in the Super Weekend, you advance on through to the league finals, where you play 6 matches a day through the 22nd to 24th of December. And the top 9 teams from there will move on into our grand finals, kicking off next year to join the likes of 6 teams from the West and 1 team from India. Now, I have gotten confirmation here that Maxman knows the team of who it's going to be, but he refuses to release that information until he hits 10,000 followers on Instagram. So let's get him to that. And not to mention, all those teams will be participating for $6 million in prize money across the league stage here and, of course, across the grand finals. A lot of money to be won here, Tarzan. But for you, it's just another average day. I mean, $6 million, you make that like in a couple hours, right?
That's not true. I wish that is the case, and that actually will allow me to contemplate my life. Come on, guys. But
he bought me a Lamborghini, actually. It's right outside my apartment.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, you're so nice, Tarzan. Wow.
Hey, not the time to say it. That's okay. I thought we've got secrets on this desk, but apparently that's wrong. But right now we talk about secret strats because we talk about some secret plans for these teams. The hardest secrets to really find out is how to keep yourself cool and calm and collected, because we did say this last league play, guys, we are going to hear the sounds of dream getting shattered. So whoever's got that stronger mentality, I think they will reign supreme.
Yeah, and the thing is, as you mentioned that, as we can see here, the teams that are playing and, of course, the groups they are in, I think a lot of it goes into, like you're saying, keeping cool, considering we have quite a few teams, like, technically on that cusp, right? I'd say almost outside of top 9 right now, which 10th place is 183 points. That is susceptible to being knocked out, technically. I think above that, it gets a little bit more difficult because you're looking at about 100 points to gain, though we obviously have seen teams do that. But though, if you're towards the top, if you're the Infinity at 320 points overall, technically this is your chance now to be like, you know what, we could play spoiler. Let's just hot drop on FaZe Cleanse, hot drop on Bigatron, let's hot drop on, or Nova in particular. I think that's the team who's going to be under a lot of fire, a lot of pressure from a lot of these top dogs, knowing they won last year. It's going to be rough times, but this is what happens if you don't perform in one of these weeks. You can be targeted, Max.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I wanted to bring up, Jason. That Nova Esports.
Well, too late. I did it.
You did it. Man, you're taking my job. You're going to be doing host and analysis soon. You're doing both in a row. But Nova Esports would be the perfect team to try and potentially get rid of this early on in this third week and final week, actually, to qualify into the finals of the league play. And we'll see how things are going to pan out. But as you said, Infinity with 320 points so far over the entirety of all Super Weekends with 3 chicken dinners. This is a team that will be chasing these potential bottom teams down. Nova Esports, BTR, FaZe Clan, Xavier. If you don't want to see them make into the finals, teams like them, like also Genesis Dogma, have the opportunity to strike them down and make sure they don't make it to the next stage.
Well, You know, Tarzan, I want to bring up this topic here. As you see the Infinity, 155 points, then 165. They were the highest scoring team in week 1, and then the second highest scoring team in week 2. They improved on the first week to the second. Genesis Dogma as well improved. It had a much bigger improvement up to 168 points. The consistency we're seeing, even out of 4 rivals here, with 0 chicken dinners, 142 down to 116. This consistency is sort of the top has been ridiculous.
Coming from that region as well, I feel like they found the groove of things from the Southeast Asia region, and they just don't seem to stop. And I feel like they, of course, like we hypothesized, they could actually ruin the dreams of other teams, but I feel like they just want to continue to polish their usual style, right? So I don't think it's going to be that spicy in that sense, but maybe progressing into the later parts of today or even tomorrow, then we will see teams feeling like there's nothing to lose, or we can't afford to not try things anymore, and that's when the targeting does come in. I want to see how they do it. Is it in the form of hot drop? Are we punishing some teams based on their phase 1 rotation tendencies or their preparedness to fight in a particular phase of the game? Those are the things that I really, really dig. But right now, BC Smart is one of that team, and I'm going to say it again. Like, there's nothing for them to lose anymore. They need to find a way to maybe go back to the previous drop spots around Rozok to maybe punish a team like Dead Ice Guys who've been in the slump. And but who knows? They've got some time to prepare, and I'm really looking forward to see what they've done.
I mean, the fact is for them, if they do qualify, they have so many points they have to get per match in the final Super Weekend, and we haven't yet really seen them have a stand-up performance to even give us a glimpse of that ability to do that. But speaking about stand-up performances, I mean, Action and Top, Stalwart Esports, this last Super Weekend, they were non-stop, like top MVPs, top players consistently.
Was it Action that broke the graphic when it came to damage over the course of a game? I think it was 1,400 he got in that final game. Like, that's how insane the performances of Stalwart currently are. Kalaris on the desk said it yesterday when he's talking about 2 teams in particular. Infinity and Stalwart are the 2 teams that are looking like they are ready, prepared to not only go for the league finals, but go for the grand finals in January. These 2 teams are set as to what they want to try and achieve, but the average total eliminations of 8, like over the course of 2 entire weeks of play, having an average elimination score of 8 is insane. I did not expect to see a team dominate this much when it comes to aggressiveness in a lobby this stacked, but I mean, Stalwart made it happen here, Jason.
Just to point out really quickly, this is from the weekday matches, so for only the Tuesday, Wednesdays, not including the Super Weekend, according to what it says on the top. But that still shows, I mean, to be fair, if we're to look at their league play versus their Super Weekend, it's probably pretty close, to be fair, in terms of their averages. But in terms of like standing out in league play, Stalwart Esports, I mean, since week 1, they've been able to do that.
You have to really think that they are the best team so far, because they don't only dominate league play, they are starting to increase like the amount of points and consistency they get through Super Weekends as well. Because Super Weekend 1, we're a little bit like worried for them, right? But Super Weekend 2, they came back fine.
Yeah.
Like, if they continue with this trend, they're going to dominate both the league stage and the Super Weekend and have that momentum going into the finals, and that would make them very unstoppable.
I mean, to be fair for Enigma Galaxy, they finished bottom of the table week 1 with 47 points. They're now in 9th place because they took home 162. So if you talk about stepping up in the Super Weekends, that's another team that's been able to do so. As you did just see, we do have Erangel Miramar the entire 2 days here until we get into our Super Weekend, and we're starting things off with groups A, B, C, and D, and groups A and B play out all 5 matches today. So as we get through the day, some teams will have played only 3, some will have played 4, and some will have played 5. But we can see here who will be playing. Hint, hint, Maxman Professor Tarzan.
That's my
Keep
graphic.
your eye out. You're going to screenshot this graphic to keep of who's going to be coming in. And again, I have to bring this up, and it might be a little bit annoying, but I feel like just from the get-go, literally we have to watch Nova. They played 5 of their 8 matches today. If we see teams starting to drop onto them or punish them, I'm going to start getting really worried for them. And I feel like we have to mention it, considering they won last year. They're the reigning champions. They're here to defend their title, and they have to know they have a bullseye on their back.
Look, I'm telling you, Jason, it's not the BTR prank anymore, it's the Nova Esports prank, okay? Every year they're going to do the same thing. They have a little vacation midway through the tournament, that they come back, they slap, and then they make it right to the finals and take the trophy. So we'll see, but currently between 14th position, which is Nova, and 19th, there's only 24-point difference, so all those teams that are towards the bottom, you don't make it this Super Weekend, you're done. You're dusted. So you need to make sure you qualify after these 2 days.
I mean, Tarzan, before we move on, like, that's an important part to bring up, this whole vacation idea. Because realistically, if you think about it, they were playing in PEL, then they had like 1 or 2 days off and went straight into PMGC. They technically have not really had much time off, so maybe that weekend, like, they took it as, all right, let's just relax. We're not going to be too worried about it. We'll come back in finally with like 3 days of extra time off, and we'll hit the ground running.
important, right? In sports science, there's this term called periodization, basically planning your schedule almost through the year or tournament to see when do you train more, when do you rest a bit more. And also you just need to you need some almost science and experience in knowing how to properly rest. There's a difference between being relaxed, so you feel energized, or being lax, where you just feel more and more drained, right? Like, so that is something that these teams need to find out how to do as well. I mean, usually that's the harder thing, right? And because sometimes we just play the game to relax, but suddenly it becomes a source of stress.
Yeah, and one way to relieve that stress is probably by getting another and a much better device like Oneplus, our sponsor here at PMGC, with its flagship performance and immersive 120Hz display and hyper-touch technology made specifically for gamers. The Oneplus 9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to climb the leaderboards and relieve that stress. Get easy dubs, easy chicken dinners. And I think a lot of teams out there are going to be looking forward to that as we're about to head into our first match here, gentlemen. And it is time to start talking about our predictions really quickly. I'll start things off. I'll be generous. I'll be kind here. And you know what? I'm sticking with my boys that I went with the entire time last time. I'm going with the Infinity. Why not?
Wow.
Same pick.
I did not expect that, Jason. I thought we were going to go for a completely different pick, Mano. I mean, to be honest, they've been doing well the entire tournament. It makes sense. But when it comes to my prediction, I want to see Nova do well. I want to see them qualify. I want to see how good they are after that mini vacation they had in the middle of the tournament. So Nova's going to be my first pick for this one.
All right, Tarzan.
I know people feel like I'm just abusing like this. Not really. Okay, this choice. It's Genesis Dogma.
Okay.
They did well when I last predicted them. I feel like they are still very fluid in their way of play. So with a very volatile league play week 3 coming in, I feel like they can still adapt, no problem. Hit them at any angle, they can really still take that.
Okay, well, you guys heard my prediction, but it is time to head over to our commentators. As you saw, the match is about to begin. Our commentators are ready to go. And to be honest, I think all of us are ready to go as well here to see the first match kick off here in our final week of league play. Let's head over to Blend Imperium to kick it underway.
Well, thank you for that, gentlemen, as I'm ready for this one, Imperium. Final week, it's the final week league stage, and for a lot of these teams, there is so much on the line. We're wasting no time. We're jumping straight into the first game over here. Each team have 8 opportunities to make it through. There's one team who's on everyone's minds and lips, perhaps, Nova. Are they gonna make it?
To an extent, it's do or die, now or never for a lot of these teams, and indeed Nova, they have to an extent a good bit to prove. We can't doubt what they can do, we can't doubt what they've done in the past, and Maxon alluded to it in terms of it's what they've kind of now known to do, not qualify for one of the super weekends. At the end of the day, a justified question with the standard of teams in this lobby is, can they actually qualify for this third super weekend? You got the strength of FaZe that need to qualify, the strength of BTR. I think Down One Gaming justifiably deserve to be put in the mix with how they performed in their first super weekend. And then you have the unknown entity of BC Swell, who've yet to qualify for a super weekend. But again, they are here in the PMGC East, so we need to also consider if they qualify, can they have a lasting impact?
We're gonna be finding out as Tangja Bao. They're taking to the skies. Lovely.
Hell yeah.
I just love it when someone takes a glider. It's such a unique perspective which you rarely ever get, and you can see them in the distance. Cryptic see them as well, but I don't think they're going to be fancying the chances taking shots from especially this far away. Looking at the zone, it's interesting. It's not a Sosnovka, a fully Sosnovka zone like we've seen a few times last week, but there is a real possibility it could be heading down south. So I'm expecting Infinity and even Stalwood to be a little bit more proactive here. You can see Stalwood, they're already heading towards Novo to loot on up, but looking at how the next zone is going to be shifting, they probably want to get themselves in a very, very comfortable position just in case they need to gravitate up north, or they need to cap that bridge and just mow down anyone heading their direction.
To me, this first game is specifically important for BC Swell because not only do they have Milta free to themselves to loot up because Genesis Dogma aren't playing in this game, but either are DRS, Team Secret, or FaZe Clan. And I'm not saying that, like, you know, the other teams that are playing aren't extremely high standard, but I think it is important that BC Swell recognize that, yeah, there's 4 teams who aren't playing in this game. It gives us a better opportunity to loot up quicker, to move out quicker. They do, of course, need to consider that BTR are directly in front of them in this pathing line, especially of this phase 1. If they wanted to, wouldn't necessarily fully advise it, but if they wanted to, they could opt to go for an East Bridge rotation and rotate through Military Island. But that would require, in my eyes, a specifically planned rotation. I just don't think BCS will have that in them for the time being. But it is important that the second Japanese side in this PMGC East really recognize that there's an opportunity in this first game, right from the looting phase, to get some good points on board.
For sure. And even, look, I won't lie, it's going to be a very, very hard ask of BC as well to make it to the league to the finals, right? It's not going to be an easy task at all, even if they do qualify. But I would want to see them, put up a fight. I would want to see them ruin the days of a few of these teams who are battling it out. Speaking of battling it out, Infinity, the Infinity, going up against Divine. He's got back up nearby in the vicinity, but they are still quite a distance away. And Divine lying with, I love this positioning from Divine. He's trying to hold the off angle, playing outside of the Wizard Tower. But Uzi is more than aware. Great reactions, barely takes any damage up close against the SMG. And with that, we lose the first member in the league stage here in week number 3.
Just Infinity proving why they are such a strong team in general. A quick rotation for Military Island catches Reject off guard for the most part. Yeah, they had a player set up as a bit of a scouting position for Infinity moving across a couple of minutes later, but not within the first 5 minutes. I can guarantee you that. So just the Infinity showing their adaptability, their surprise effect, and even, let's be fair, across the whole of PMGC, they've proven themselves time and time again. In Erangel specifically, from a statistical standpoint, in this second Super Weekend that we've just seen go by, they were the highest performing team in Erangel, an average of 15.9 points per game across the 9 Erangel games. That statistic is pretty darn crazy. Like, it's pretty darn crazy.
Especially, because you specifically say it's for Erangel, right? So you have a pretty big sample size to work with. With Miramar and Sandhawk, you can always be kind of excused because you're like, you haven't played too many games yet.
Exactly.
This is a nutty statistic. And you know what? Since it's still early, and since I don't want the boys at the desk and Jason to have all the fun, I'm gonna ask you to curse a team here. So who do you think's gonna win?
Whoa! We're meant to be a partnership, and
I didn't say it's a bad thing. I didn't say it's a bad thing. I enjoy you picking a team and then just watching them get decimated in the first 5 minutes. So go on. You've seen the zone. You see where the teams are. So it's an easier guess to go.
I'm gonna pick Team Secret because they're not playing in this game. Let's go.
No, that's a cheap cop out. Come on, you're better than that, Imperium. Come on.
You did not say pick a team that's playing in this lobby to curse.
Listen.
You just said pick a team to curse.
Are you gonna do a Tarzan and go for a Genesis Dogma? Calling him out here. Even though Jason said
a Tarzan.
Don't pull up a Tarzan on me. Come on. There even isn't your boys in the form of a DRS either. So you might be forced to think a bit, make a decision over here. Come on.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay. No.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick a team. I'm gonna pick one
pick
myself.
a team. Okay.
All right. I'm looking at this. I'm gonna go with, and this is a bit of a tricky one, but I'm gonna go with MS John Burry. I think they might steal the chicken dinner away here.
Fair. I'm gonna go for Reject. I'm just going to make my life that ever more difficult. They're already down a player.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think overall they're safe in the Super Weekend, so I'm comfortable, even if I do curse them, that they'll still be good. So yeah, I'm picking Reject.
You're a brave man, Imperium.
Look,
but I respect that. I respect you not going for the favorite. You're not like Jason. It's like, oh, who do I go for? I'm gonna go with the Infinity, the best team thus far in the tournament.
I'm so good.
Time.
I'm so good. Like, I pick such a difficult team to win. Like, oh my god.
Here's the thing, like, if Jason's ever a gambling man, like, he won't make any money. He's just always going to go for the favorites every single time. He's going to go for those 1.01 odds and, you know, put in like $1,000 and make 10 cents out of it.
But he'll still be because, you know, he's American, so he has an ego. He'll still be happy because he'll know
he's winning. Hashtag
yeah,
winning.
exactly.
Yeah, there we go. Of course, Americans always win, as we know. Still a bit of a quiet start. Looking at the zone, I did kind of imagine a few of the teams to be, you know, try and get themselves in a pretty comfortable position. But looking at the zone, it's totally understandable why they're going to wait for the second phase. Infinity haven't waited for the second phase, though. Imperium. That surprises me a little bit. They've already crossed the Ferry Pier Bridge, and they've made their way across. And it's a full unit. I thought maybe they might send, you know, one guy on a reconnaissance mission, but no, there you go. You have everyone there. And I guess it's the right call. Looking at the zone, it's highly likely it's going to be ending, you know, towards Farm, maybe towards Pachinki, basically on the mainland.
BTR now have to really think about where they want to go and how they want to position themselves as a full squad. That spread right now is extremely dangerous when you have a cluster of teams heading in their direction from that western side. Starward have an easier rotation away from that military island, de Novo, up towards the eastern bridge. BC Swell need to consider that. Infinity, unfortunately, getting another knock onto Sarah. Reject should have been a little bit aware of that, and that rotation seemed a little bit off kilter and a little bit lackluster, being perfectly honest. But we know what Infinity do. They hunt, they kill, they grab points.
Reggie! Oh, no. Why have you done this to them, Imperium? Why have you done this to them?
Now I know how Maxman feels.
Infinity, though, you gotta love Infinity the way they're playing right now. I mean, they're almost guaranteed to qualify, but they're not taking it easy, right? They're being aggressive. They're trying to be disruptive, not just playing it safe. And not only did they cross the bridge early on, but they're pushing it deep into unknown, uncharted territory, and they're taking the fights to these teams who've been just, you know, kind of turtled up, like holding on to their, you know, their camping areas, holding on to their fortresses, and Infinity's like, yeah, no, we're gonna come knocking on the door and make life very uncomfortable for you.
And this is what makes it very challenging for the teams down from around 12th, 13th in terms of the overall standings. Because the top 10, pretty much at least, are guaranteed to make it into the finals. And what's more dangerous than a strong team? A strong team that has absolutely nothing to lose. So the likes of Infinity, the likes of Stalwart, the likes of Genesis Dogma, all those teams and more, they don't have to worry about their position in the Super Weekend. So coming into this league week 3, they can try different things, they can push themselves aggressively, and that in turn could lead to lobbies and games being very heavily one-sided or two-sided and sucking the points away from the teams that really need it. I'm not saying that the teams down in the bottom aren't capable of dealing with a very aggressive Infinity and a very aggressive Genesis, but based on what we've seen, there are definitely a lot more weaknesses in their arsenal compared to those teams that I've just mentioned. So this League Week 3 is just so exciting.
And looking at the way, I'm glad, you know, we're talking about Infinity here, because just look at the positioning right now on the cliffs, and they're very comfortable. They don't have to worry about anyone coming in from behind. 6-8, the only team, but you can see Infinity just trying to harass them a little bit, forced them away. So they're the only team they have to be wary of come the third zone. And while we're talking, Reject have been eliminated. How do you feel about that, Imperium?
I plead the fifth. That's it. That's it. And I'm going to move on and talk about something else because that's what I can do. Thank you very much. I appreciate you trying to put me under pressure like that. The Xavier up and towards Potato Hill is a great position for this phase 2 because as we get into phase 3, it gives them so much more rotation potential. Fortunately, that circle shifting over to the west is probably the trickiest direction it could have headed in from where they were. But you can see they're already on the move, looking to react to this circle. Down one gaming, heading towards Pachinki, which I think is a little bit dangerous. Rico Infinity in a good spot of this circle. Enigma Galaxy on the south Pachinki Hill position is probably one of the strongest spots in this phase 3.
Whoa, okay, all right. The Xavier MS Chonburi. I know, like, you know, everyone's been watching Formula 1 recently, but this ain't it. And MS Chonburi, they're going to alight after finding a little bit of cover there. concrete cover. They're going to take a couple of pot shots in the direction of the Xavier, who have instead stormed the city, the eastern side of Pochinki. And 4 rivals, they're not really together, but that's okay. You know, they're trying to ensure that their odds of survival are much better, and somehow unscathed, they've managed to find themselves right next to the church. The question is, are they going to occupy the church, or are they going to be spreading themselves around? As Deadeye's guys, another team who have a lot to make up for this week, are going to be unleashing on a couple of members of the Xavier.
Week 1, Deadeye is qualified into the Super Weekend by 1 point. They took advantage of that. It was a good Super Weekend for them in the first week, but League Week 2, they didn't qualify for the Super Weekend by 1 point, so it came to bite them in the butt. Indeed, for the Nepal side, it's such an important 8 games for them. They started off with 1 point, getting that kill onto MS Chonburi as they rotated away, but they are not inside this Phase 3 circle. I wasn't sure if 4 rivals were going to stay on the church side of Pochinki. I think recognizing that the Xavier are close by on the eastern side, and church is a strong spot, but it's not ultra secure. They moved over to that compound to the west of Pochinki, which I think is much safer inside the circle.
What are we doing to these teams? Reject? Getting eliminated? MS Chonburi down to 2-man squad. We should shut our mouths. Yeah, I mean, I'm still not last. All of MS Chonburi don't get a single kill and they get knocked out. They're both gonna be in 0. So
don't speak too soon, man.
I know. But at least they found the semblance of cover as Deadeye's guys now. They got the first knock onto MS Chonburi, and now they will in turn feel a bit of wrath from Cryptics. They got some good cover. Senkai with that Mini 14, very, very capable indeed. And Deadeye's guys, they're trying to head in and find, and play the edge of the zone with the blue behind them. Now they have to take a battle on both fronts. Now, the blue's not dealing too much damage, however, but these bullets definitely are.
Cryptic's doing a great job of repositioning Deadeye's guys and suppressing them away upon this circle shifting over to Phase 4, where Cryptics will have to think about what's in front of them a little bit more heavily. And I'm happy with how Cryptics ended the second Super Weekend off the back of a very poor day 2 of the weekend's play. They came back strong with the 46-pointer day 3 in Super Weekend number 2. But the circle shifts over to the northeast. Pochinki finish? Possibly. It's on the cards, but it could be a field ending.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I wanted a Pochinki ending. That Pochinki ending we had on the week 1 was, I think, one of my favorite endings. It wasn't as chaotic as some of the, the military honor, the beach finishes. In fact, on the western side of things, we saw a finish on Miramar on the islands.
Yes!
We were talking about it. I was so jealous of them. Like, it actually happened.
I saw that picture and I shook my old man fist up in the air, say, damn you kids, damn you all to hell.
Oh man, imagine just the sheer chaos and madness that would have transpired if we had an opportunity to cast that. I think that's the only one time where I've been the other stuff is zone, because we've always had all the different zones. But you know what, we'll get back to it later on, because right now Pochinki is getting very, very congested, as a multitude of teams have arrived. There's still a few teams outside towards the fields, towards a little bit of a hill next to Pochinki on the southwestern side. We have Nova, we have Tangjiabao, we have 628, and Enigma Galaxy as well. And Infinity are going to be coming in from the right-hand side of Pochinki, but BTR have spotted them, and they're not going to make it easy for Infinity to make their way inside the circle.
Gotta say, happy with how a good few of these teams have dealt with these circuits. BTR not committing too much to Pochinki, but staying on that eastern side. BC Swell are in the warehouse to the south of Pochinki, or the buildings to the south of Pochinki, which I think is spot on. BTR, they are at a massive risk off the back of an initial knock onto Infinity. You can see the response from Infinity is so good, with God Tunney pushing himself forward, suppressing BTR while the revive gets laid out. It allows Infinity to regain an element of control inside this team fight, because as much as BTR are in a good spot, they are somewhat isolated and they don't really have much cover, because if they scale back away from Infinity, they're at the heart of the teams who are already inside Pochinki.
Infinity, though, I love the way they're just able to break the barrier their BTR set up. Mela, especially for this lineup. So BTR, even though they were initially in a good spot, now they definitely aren't. Mela with kind of a whiff spray, but look at Logan, just the way they're pushing on in, the spacing coming out as Ryzen will eventually fall. In DTR, sure, they set up a dam, but the dam has been crushed, absolutely decimated by the Infinity. And I love watching this team play. They have, you know, I've always enjoyed watching Stalwart play and then Zeus back in the day, but watching Infinity thus far, it's been a treat for anyone who's a fan of this game.
I love how their playstyle has developed from concise, calculated movements to controlling games to now very exciting PUBG Mobile, a form of aggression that we haven't directly seen, especially in an early part of a game from Infinity. I think, again, it's based off the fact that they don't need to worry about qualifying for the Super Weekend, but I want to see more of this Infinity leading into the rest of the PMGC, especially when we get to the finals. Nigma still on the south side of Pachinki towards the hillside. The circle has shifted up and it's gone right into the heart of the city. Blood, we're looking at a Pachinki ending.
Amen, brother. Amen. Here we go. Oh, this is going to be so tasty. Nova, all eyes on the defending champions, mind you, right? 8 opportunities. They need to make it work. Right now, they have a couple of members knocked, although I don't think any of these kills have been confirmed. Order will fall as well. I'm keeping an eye on the kill feed. And okay, they still have 2 standing. A bit of a delay in the kill feed. But it's... Oh, make that 3. One's been taken down. Nova down to 1 man. What a rough start coming in for a team who desperately needs to perform here in the Super Weekend. And it's not looking good whatsoever. 4 rivals now charging into the Xavier's position, and they're making quick work of it. Appy waiting for the nades to detonate. There's so many nades all around them, so they're just gonna bide the time for a couple of seconds. Frankie desperately trying to patch himself up, and they also need to be wary of other teams third-partying from up high on those hills. The Xavier pinned down. Now, it is a 4-man squad, but they are only 2 for the time being in that particular house, and they're going to be harassed with all these nades from 4 rivals.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that 4 rivals chucked out a couple of nades outside of the building to stop that potential third party, so I really appreciate it. But they need to push, right? They need to take advantage of that. A 6-8 push in on towards Tongja Bao. Dashi with the knock and the confirmation. Sunan gonna clean that one up. Longs and Babu left ones alive.
Oh, so close, and Sunan on a sliver of HP, but a second too late as the roof is on fire.
Oh
the roof is on fire. They're all burning. A nade to follow up, and there is no safety whatsoever for Frankie as Ravis.
Oh no!
Oh, he catches on fire as well. He's gonna try and heal himself, which he will, but I do believe his days are numbered as 4 rivals come barreling up, bullets just rattling forth, and the Xavier, they lose 2. They get absolutely murdered by 4 rivals.
4 rivals didn't win a chicken dinner in this Super Weekend so far, but they're winning out the battle in Pachinki as they eliminate 2 of the Xavier players. Still 2 left up. As we see Infinity, we're able to get the revive onto their knocked player, so they're back up as a full squad. Stalwart have the gutters of Pachinki in their sight. They have a couple of buildings, while Cryptics as a 4-person squad are able to hold down this western side along with the last player, Rico. Deadeyes, I'm excited to see what they can do in the final moments of this game as the circle shifts away from Pachinki. Still a bit of the edge, but the field has opened up more heavily.
Yeah, now definitely 50-50, but a circle shift. Yep, it's still 50-50. And looking at how some of these teams are positioned, if you are BC Swell, you're licking your chops. You're like, yes, fight it out. Let them fight. Infinity, by the way, 9 kills, and they came in all the way from the military island, and whoever has been on their warpath have been eliminated thus far, and they're looking for more. A couple of incendiaries, Molotovs being tossed into the direction of Pika, and it's going to force him inside.
Oh my god,
he's got to find the angle. Infinity, just like a I don't know, like death incarnate, just pushing on in, and Shifu just might ruin Stalwart Esports Day. That nade is so good. Action will be knocked down, and Scry remains all by his lonesome for Stalwart Esports.
Oh, he's been able to crawl up the stairs. Scry will be able to get the revive. The mollies, the nades are pushing through. Infinity are getting third party though. Down 1 gaming. The Korean side on the south edge of pitching either inside the circles. 4 rivals are going to continue to gain control. BC Schedule don't have the easiest of tasks as 2 of their players push in. Scry's knocked.
Oh, this is just burned corpses, charred beyond recognition. You're gonna need dental records to figure out which team that was. As Infinity, they continue to push on ahead. 12 kills! They're 24 still alive in the server. They have 12 kills and not one has fallen yet. Imperium, this is a statement.
It is a statement beyond statement. It is a scientific fact what Infinity are pulling out so far in this game. Still holding on as a full squad, no doubt. Like 12 kills, still 4 players up. That's insane, and it just shows the massive teamwork they pulled in on every single engagement. Right from the start onto the first reject player, right until now, it's been so well coordinated. As the circle is closing in on this phase 6, BC Schedule unfortunately have been eliminated. It feels like they pushed in a bit too early on towards the edge of the circle. They got absolutely lasered by the likes of Nova, Down One, and Xavier.
Deadeyes though, full 4-man squad again for Damn One Gaming, for Deadeyes guys. These are must-win games. These are games they need to really deliver. As Tunny, finally, 2 members suddenly brought onto the knees, and it requires 2 teams. Make that 3 teams to unload onto Infinity to take them down. Still, they're not quite out yet. They still are a 2-man squad or Infinity, but finally, they bleed, and if they bleed, they can be taken down. Deadeyes guys, 3-man squad, aware that Infinity have lost a couple of members, but they need to also be wary about these very, very nasty neighbors in the form of Cryptics and Damn One Gaming, and they are getting naded from virtually every single direction.
The good thing for Deadeyes guys and the last Infinity players is that the circle on phase 7 moved up north, so they don't have to move across the road. As Infinity survived, they may bleed, but they're not out until they are out.
As long as there's a breath in their lungs, as long as there's some blood remaining, finally they fall. Oh, everyone, can you hear that? Can you hear everyone in the lobby breathing a massive sigh of relief because Infinity have fallen with 15 eliminations. That is ludicrous from Infinity. But finally, they will bid us goodbye. And now, Damn One Gaming, 4 rivals, and Cryptics. These are the 3 teams who have the best chances of taking this chicken dinner.
6 eliminations from Damn One Gaming. Cryptics with 3. They have to prepare for moving across the road in this next circle shift. Smokes aplenty. Foots are blazing. They've been cooked up by Fabian, looking to connect onto one of the Xavier players, holding onto the roof play. That's not a bad call from one of the Cryptics players. Go onto the roof, get a little bit more of an elevation point to grab information.
Happy trying to find some cover, but he's getting shot from the roof on the first floor. No matter where he goes, there is a window, there is an angle, and there is a bullet with his name on it. So Appy and one of his teammates both knocked down to 4 rivals. They still pick themselves up. There's still a little bit of time. And Cryptics, this is a great position to work. And it's not just 1 player as well. There are 2 players on the rooftop, and they have a member downstairs. As the Xavier, they're getting pushed in by Damn One Gaming, but it is going to be the steal coming in from El Chapo. And we say goodbye to the Xavier. Down to the final 5 teams, battling it out. Nova with 1 man, Rico Infinity with 1 man. And for Damn One Gaming and Cryptics, all 4 still alive and kicking. But 4 rivals, 1 by 1, they are getting slowly taken down.
Damn One have done a great job of pushing in from this eastern side. The good thing is that they can move out of the building, outside of the house, in towards the gutter strips. Now, the last player, Nova, is their power boy. But if they push in together, or at least as a 2 or 3 person, while one holds on to that kind of informational side where Cryptics lie, then this could be a chicken dinner for Damn One Gaming. For the Kreen side, who struggled, didn't make it into Super Weekend 1, they had a strong Super Weekend 2, considering they've been able to eliminate Powerboy and the whole of Nova, or the last of Nova, in this game 1.
At least they get the 5th place. Still 0 kills for Nova. Not going to be supremely happy. At the same time, wouldn't be too disappointed. Marshall.
It's not good enough, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's good enough, but we'll get back to it later on. We can talk about this right now. Hembrew He's conveying all the information. His teammate needed to get that kill, but he will fall, and simultaneously so will Pembrew. And with that, final 3. Rico Infinity still have a member. Prestigo, very, very quiet, and he's gonna be just praying to whatever god he believes in. And never mind, there is no safety from Damwon Gaming Cryptics. The 4v4, the battle for the chicken dinner, it starts now.
Damwon pushing in, they're making a lot of noise. Cryptics have positioned up and they're ready.
Ready to go from above, Cryptics. Not a great position, but one well-placed nade up top. There you have it. It explodes like it's the 4th of July. Uni gets taken down mid-air. Faven gets knocked out from El Chap. When you blink and you miss it, Cryptics absolutely decimate Damwon Gaming, and they claim the first chicken dinner, and they played that one so very well. A 4v4 Imperium, and it ended in the blink of an eye.
Concise from Cryptics. Couldn't ask for a better setup for the final fight. Now, it's rare that a city ends in a kind of clean overall 4v4 fight, but it was all how Cryptics laid themselves up and looked to really respect the fact that they had to move across the road. Was it a little bit easier that they were isolated around Damwon's position as they tried to push in from the eastern side? Yes, but at the end of the day, you can see how Cryptics moved in. There is nothing but respect on how they needed to play it. Dealt with 4 rivals, were able to third party before that, and that setup onto Damwon Gaming was absolutely imperative. Like, so clean and great game from both teams, but Cryptics, there's no way they were going to lose that last team fight.
Yeah, especially like you look at it and you're like, oh no, you know, the Cryptics, they're all pinned down downstairs, but the nades and I love the coordination as well, right? The way everyone struck at the same time. The moment the nades are lobbed in, they're like, they're going to be low or they're going to be dropping on down from the rooftop, and they immediately pounce on Damwon Gaming. Still, for Damwon Gaming, a very solid outing, right? They need a good game. They got themselves a good game. 12 points for second place, 10 kills, 11 kills for Cryptics. But man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna just go the route of Jason, and I'm just gonna keep picking the Infinity for the duration of this tournament.
15 eliminations, couldn't ask for a better start to the League Week 3 for themselves, and let's see what the next game brings up, because starting with a Pachinki ending, can ask for better.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the next game, but before that, of course, we have a very smug-looking Jason Kaplan to take us through what was a fantastic game there.
I don't know why I'm smug. The Infinity didn't win in the end. Then again, at least I picked a team that was playing in the first match of the day here. But still, a very important match for quite a few teams. We saw at the very end there for Cryptics to obviously take home the chicken dinner. They needed to re-qualify here in the third super weekend. And then also Damwon, another team who desperately needs to qualify here, gentlemen. 26 points for Cryptics, not a bad start of the day.
Yeah, Damwon were in the worst position other than BC Swell, which BC Swell didn't make in 2 super weekends, so of course they're in the worst position. But in terms of points, Damwon, Kia were in the worst position. So it's really good to see them have such a strong start of the day in Cryptics too. I feel like they've come back to form a little bit, Tarzan, as of the last few days. I mean, they got themselves a win on, what was it, the second Erangel of day 3 of the second super weekend. They got themselves a win on this game too, was 11 eliminations. So these are 2 teams that desperately needed a really good showcase and really good points coming into this third and final league play. And man, they started off strong.
I mean, we look at the math, we look at the history, like from the past 2 weeks, we're talking about mid-40s being quite safe. Not safe, but you would have qualified if you got that in the past 2 weeks. So these 2 teams were actually 2 that could be targeted. Like when it comes to really bringing certain teams down and preventing them from qualifying to the finals, but they've already kind of got half the job done from that game. So suddenly the list of teams that you can choose from to maybe target when it comes to mathematical possibility have gone down. So we're looking at some of these teams, Chinese teams, actually not doing quite so well, but some of these other teams are really slowly showing up. But I'm sorry, but BTR is not one of them, and Reject not quite so as well.
Well, we have to point out the MVP here, Newsy. I mean, that like 1v4 he basically had. I'm not sure if it was exactly a 1v4, but ridiculous stuff coming out with a Infinity. They show they can bleed, but keeping just 2 alive, they can still take teams on. 1230 damage. I'm waiting for someone here to give me a sound while Clarus is on the show today. There we go. I was about to bring Clarus up here because I can see him, sitting there chatting away with the other casters, but. A fantastic performance out of Infinity, fantastic performance out of Cryptics, and we have been asking ourselves, and I know you asked it while we were watching the match, Max, where has this Cryptics been?
Exactly. This is a Cryptics that when we were looking back at the Global Esports Tour with Kalaris and Imperium, we were covering that event. I mean, even yourself, right, Tarzan? And this was a very, very impressive team. They had some really good macro. They got themselves in very strong positions, knew how to play those positions extremely well. But of course, as we know, this is their first time playing at this kind of level, so maybe needed a little bit more time than most to actually adapt a little bit more. But here they had the best position. They cleared all of the northern side. They actually allowed Xavier to cross over the road, so they had vantage point up in the northern edge, and they started playing the roof, which we know when you have a circle like this in Pachinki and you play on the edge, the rooftop positions are so valuable in terms of information you can get and the sneaky off angles to get some eliminations on, what was it, 4 rivals and even Xavier. It makes it so easy to get access to the late game while still picking a few eliminations here and there to try and make the numbers dwindle on the other side. Like, this was so well executed from Cryptics, and I want to see more here, Jace.
I think we need to see more. That's the thing. I mean, for Cryptics to be a real contender to get into the grand finals, we have to see more out of this team, and hopefully for them, they can show that throughout the day. But before we can even talk about the next match, I'm going to remind you guys about the fan favorite vote happening currently for you guys within the game, within the Esports Center. Vote for your favorite teams, your favorite players, and you can unlock various pink level permanent items for your account. Make sure you guys get that in. Again, I'm still trying to push. Can we get it? Can we get it for maybe like fan favorite analyst, maybe fan favorite host, because then I'm only competing against myself, and yeah, I'll still somehow lose. Let's be honest. But really quickly before we do head to break here, Xavier really getting punished early by 4 rivals there, but to credit to them and even Nova with Paraboy in particular, of just surviving, get those extra placement points in. As we've seen the last 2 weeks in a row, it's come down to 1 point.
I really thought this game, I don't know if you agree, Tarzan, but I really think Xavier could have had a way better potential performance here, but I think they gave up Church way too early, and then there was that insane grenade of the week from 4 rivals where they just got rid of Frankie right off the bat. There was a good opportunity, but I think that they just gave away a very pivotal position a little bit too early.
I think another way to talk about it would be how they adjust the split. They're a little bit slow. They need to think one step forward to know whether they can support each other, and the 2-2 was a little bit too wide right there.
We can see here a little bit of interaction from you guys. We're curious to hear your thoughts. For instance, what is your favorite map? I think there's going to be a lot of people voting in certain directions here. Maybe the Kendi will count as well when we get it back into the mix eventually one day. But what about you two? What's your favorite map? Really fast.
Say Vikendi.
One answer.
I miss Vikendi, man. I want my console finishes with footballists, man.
I want
they'll come back one day.
Okay, we're gonna skip you, Tarzan, because Max doesn't know what hurry up and just give a quick answer means. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back here with our second map of the day momentarily. I love you, Max. I'm kidding.
Danny, ready for abstract.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
But this will make it big for Semnon if they can get the chicken dinner. Now we're seeing a lot more information. Yes, speeding up. What? What? Hang on, back in! Hang on, back in! Semnon with chicken dinner! What?
That's gotta hurt, dying to the pan. But you know what? It happens. We've seen a lot of attempts so far here in PMGC, and I'm hoping we're seeing some more successes. But welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to our league play and our second match of the day, of our first day, of our final week of league play. know it's really confusing, but all you need to know is there's 2 days left here to find out which 16 teams will make it into the Super Weekend. And so far, Cryptics have started off extremely strong, getting a chicken dinner in match 1. But as we head into the second match here, remember, it's just Erangel, it's just Miramar. I think for me, I'm curious about what you guys are looking forward to. I want to see Reject kind of step back up to that performance you saw in week 1 of that consistent, well-performing job by them. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Consistently performing well on Miramar.
Especially after that last game, right, Jason? They just got bullied by, what was it, Infinity, and I think there was also 4 rivals. They got chased down hard mode, and you know that 6-8, if at some point in the tournament they see an opportunity to make sure Reject don't make it, that could be a little bit scary and spooky for them. So they need to try and get a majority of their points on Miramar, like they did in League Play week 1. And we'll have to see how things are going to pan out. But yeah, Reject, we need to see a resurgence on this Miramar map.
I'm really hoping to see Reject do well and qualify, to be honest. I mean, I think we kind of all fell in love with them last year at PMGC. And like the performance they showed, and to be able to see them like put that hard work in, that time over this last year, it'd be great to see that pay off for them. But obviously you got to be one of the best teams in the world if you want to be able to make that payoff. Tarzan, what about you? What are you looking for towards here in map 2?
Looking towards Minas Generalis. I'm looking at Nova Esports and their drop spot, because we did mention how drops need to change like through different stages of the this league play. We've got that spot taken away by BTR because Nova didn't make it in the Super Weekend too. So will they clash? That is the question, because you mentioned Reject as well, so that's going to be quite interesting, because if Nova went back there and BTR moved back to Puerto Paraiso, that makes Reject wants to go back to around Mines, Los Leones Mines area. So I think it's a very interesting dynamics on the eastern side of the map that we may be seeing here.
Okay, I mean, again, that's something that we're desperately going to be watching out for. I mean, we saw Xavier get in a fight really early on with 4 rivals who, again, should be qualified through into the finals. I see no way that they're not qualified through into the finals. I still, though, I'm kind of wondering, and this one kind of tilts me, and I probably can do like a 30-minute monologue about this, but this like gentleman's agreement to not hot drop each other. I throw that out the window, please. Come on. I want to see some drama develop. I want to see teams drop on top of each other. Because let's be honest, you're playing for $6 million total in prize money throughout PMGC. If you put $1 million in front of me, you're sure as hell I'm going to be hot dropping people.
This is one of the only opportunities for you to maybe make sure that some teams at the bottom will not make it to the league finals, right? You would not have any better opportunity than now, than today and tomorrow, of course, for the 3rd league play, to make sure, for example, as Nova Esport don't make it, as if you don't want BTR FaceClan to make it to the next stage, this is the moment for those kind of situations to happen. I do believe, though, Jason, that day 1 is a little bit early to commit to plays like that. If the opportunity is still there when you go into day 2 and you secured your spot already into the 3rd Super Weekend, I think that would be the best situation and opportunity for you to make sure you can go for those sneaky hot drops. But I think day 1 will be a little bit overkill to make it happen.
I mean, so I'm talking about the teams who are into the finals already. Like your Infinity, your Genesis Dogma, like your top 5, top 8 teams. So you don't see a reason for them to drop in? Like, you think they need to qualify for the Super Weekend? Or could they just take, you know, the week off and relax and really get prepared for the finals?
You can pull Nova. You know, that's fair. But I think that I would like to see the teams play the 3rd Super Weekend, even if you're really comfortable, because that's your last little bit of experience you're going to have before heading into the league finals, right? And I think you should play them if possible. So I would like to see teams still try and qualify, even if you're Infinity, Genesis Dogma, for Rival Star. I think that it's still important for you to make it up there. But if you feel like it's not necessary for you to perform well in the league finals, then sure. I mean, you can start hot dropping now. Go for it.
I mean, what is like hot dropping now have to do with performing in league finals? I mean, I can understand maybe having three days off. Like, maybe that'll work against you. Maybe you'll get a little bit rusty and you won't be as mindful and ready to go. You know, is there anyone in the audience that wants to chime in? Okay, no one? No?
I've got...
No, okay. No, go ahead, Tarzan.
I've got some thoughts here about how teams should play, even if they might be safe. We did talk about how teams could focus more on the way that they play and consolidate that and refine that against, you know, shaking up the lobby, like try something new. I feel like even though these top teams have been finding consistency, they've been finding it through excelling their own style. And I feel like we are still very young as a scene, as a game, that they still are finding that part of development before they find very comfortable in their own skin and go punish someone with something new. So I don't think we're going to say it, although we really want to, but not quite there yet. But yes, I think it's about prediction time. And I said it already, I'm going to go with Nova. I want them to do well. I think it's going to be interesting on the eastern side. So they are going to be my pick.
Max, real quick.
Xavier, they need a little bit of a hype up after that first game. So I think Xavier could do well here.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going with Infinity. I mean, hey,
Oh,
15
I didn't expect
eliminations. 15 eliminations right off the bat in the first match of the day. Like they're ready to put on performance. I feel like they have no pressure on them, so they're going to play even more fast, even more loose. And I think that makes it a lot more difficult to go up against them because they got nothing to lose. They're already through to the finals, so they're going to be. Let's find out with our casters though how the second match is going to break down. Let's go into Miramar. Let's go to with Bleh and Imperium.
Thank you, Jason. I'm glad someone's going with Nova. Someone believes in Nova with Tarzan going for it. And Jason, of course, being just a boring old man. But you know what? At this point, I agree with them. I'm going to go with the Infinity as well. Why the hell not? They've shown that they're all... They needed 3 teams to take them down, Imperium. 3 teams to take down the Infinity. I mean, that's ludicrous.
I'm just glad Tarzan didn't pick Team Secret, to be fair. As we move into this playing path, it is on the south side of the map, so it's going to be a little bit more challenging for the teams that like to land up north. BTR are going to have an easy start to this game as they drop around toward their pre-so. Their looting phase is automatically going to be a little bit quicker than some of the teams, therefore they can start to move into this phase on circle wherever it goes a little bit quicker. Back in the Super Weekend, it's ironic, the Super Weekend number 2, the top 3 performing teams are actually not in this game. So my eyes are a little bit more open on who can kind of replace that to an extent and who can set that standard leading into the rest of the Miramar games in this league week 3. The teams, unfortunately, Bleh, could not ask for a worse start to this game. Extremely painful phase on circle comparative to the playing path.
Listen, we touched upon this, we alluded to this in the previous game, but you know, a few days back, the western side of things, they had that zone right on the final circle on those 2 islands on the off the east coast. I would sacrifice my firstborn just to get that one circle. At least once.
Would you? Okay, then I'm gonna throw this out there because I've been waiting for something. If we get that circle finish, will you cut your hair?
An inch.
No. You have to cut it short. No.
You know what? Actually, I could go for that. I could go for that bet because it's so unlikely to ever happen. It's such a rarity that I could go for it, but. Nah, I'm not that brave. I'm a bit like Jason, you know, playing it safe, especially at this age, Imperium. You know how it is, you know, boomers. We don't invest in all that crypto NFT nonsense. we invest in real estate.
So we like cold hard cash, hard candies, and just a warm fire. That's it. That's that's all we enjoy.
I don't even put my money in the bank. I put it in my mattress, all $200.
At this stage, it's really not a bad call. It's really not a bad call at this stage. But what also isn't a bad call is these teams being aware of the playing path comparative to the phase on circle. So for the likes of Tongjiao Bao, Xavier especially, and even Nova, their drop spots in El Azahar, Minas Generalis, and Impala respectively allows them a little bit more comfort to play on that northeastern side and rotate around water treatment, the Cabrera, so they're a little bit more comfortable inside this phase 1. I don't expect Nova to fully do that because they are very close to the eastern edge of the circle directly. But I could see Tongjiao Bao and Xavier pull it off. For BTR, it's tricky because even though they're the first to drop, with this phase on circle, it kind of cancels out their ability to rotate like super early and take advantage of that quick looting phase. Yes, they can scout and grab a little bit more information a bit quicker, but they do know, and they should know, that there's a lot more traffic in front of them. That means that you just have to thread a little bit lighter coming into this phase 1.
Well, right now it's just going to be a very, very long migration for the next 5 to 6 or 7 minutes of my estimate for all these teams to try and find themselves inside a zone as the blue will start to shrink in. Now it's going to take a while, So a lot of these teams can still stick around. And you pointed out, teams like VTR, maybe even Dig Xavier, maybe even Damwon Gaming, they could be taking a sweet time and just chilling out in the blue and then making their way in, because they know there's going to be a multitude of teams waiting for them. So expecting a lot of teams going to be out. Going to be kind of like a Sandhawk-ish early to mid game, I feel.
I definitely didn't consider that too much. He's waiting in the blue of this phase 1, so it allows the teams that are much closer to circle to play a little bit more central, so the entry point on phase 2 is a little bit cleaner. So I'm glad you brought that up. You're a bit of a clever cookie. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one, my friend.
I try.
Cryptics down in Valdemar have one of the easiest entry points into the circle, because once again, compared to the playing path, they can play on that western main side and come up the La Drolera Hills if they want to, maybe go a little bit deeper and land in Trailer Park. It depends on how they want to go. Enigma Galaxy, the first to crevice onto this big Crater Fields mountainside, separating El Pozo and Power Grid, and they're going to push 6 to 8 back a little bit. And I like this proactivity from the Mina side. I like this indeed.
Yeah, they're not just staying put inside of El Pozo, but, like you said, having that control of that really, really high peak where they can, even if they don't necessarily get any knocks or whatnot, there's a lot of information they can glean. And as long as the player up top can stay alive, he can kind of marshal the other teammates, convey information to his IGL, saying, there are a couple of teams coming in from down south. It looks like Trailer Park's free. He's basically got a bird's eye view of virtually almost the entirety of Crater Fields, Trailer Park, El Pozo, and whatnot. A few shots, however, being exchanged by BC Swell. Again, I don't want to harp on it too much, as is that Spider Truck? That is Spider Truck. And on top of that, there's Dead Eyes guys, as they are going to be... I've seen so many skirmishes between teams or players on these two peaks, but no one ever dies. Someone just...
I love that Spider Truck. Now,
it was ridiculous. It was like a 90-degree angle.
Now I just think of Spider Truck does whatever a Spider Truck does. Can he climb up a mountain? Yes, he can, because he's Spider Truck. Look out. Here comes a Spider Truck. I'm very easily pleased.
Might get sued there. Sarah from Reject, the recipient of your curse earlier, and oh, don't do it, it's Infinity. They're gonna come for you, Sarah. Careful. There we go. Get on a party van. Slowly edge away. Very, very quiet. Nope, that's not how you do it. Nope. All right. Yes. Take the left. There you go. Everyone's on their vehicles, as they are going to be making a move, and probably going to be bisecting Chumasera, just avoiding Infinity, right? Making their way in. Meantime, Rico Infinity, speaking of Infinities, the slightly less explosive one will go on past, and once again, we have some Chinese on Chinese action. Nova having to go up against their brothers in the form of Tang Jiabao. Manhand taken down. Oh, he's getting shot at, Order is, and he should be knocked down. No, with a sliver of HP, but Bamboo getting a little too overeager, and incredible covering fire being provided by Jimmy. Paraboy will finish off Bamboo as well. In the meantime, BC Swell going against the Xavier. So
this is good.
Early battles breaking out here.
This is good, and I'm a bit disappointed with the Xavier because I expected a bit of a stronger rotation from them in Impala, but I gotta give credit to BC Swell for a team that have played very passively across the games they played in the league stages, even in game 1, getting 0 points, kind of camping on the south side of Pichinki, playing in this blue, taking the fight against the Xavier, I think is very healthy. Phase 2 has popped up and it's continued to shift towards the northwest. Trailer Park open, west of El Pozo open, west of Crater Fields open, the edge of La Cabrera completely open. I want to see Cryptics outside of taking this fight against Damwon Gaming outside of Valdemar. I want to see them really take advantage of the circle shift.
Rarely do you get to see a bit of a bridge battle, and it was gonna break out at Damwon Gaming. They're waiting so long on Prison Island. Like I was saying earlier in Imperium, they're gonna wait for everyone to rotate up north, but Cryptics, They stuck around. They had an inkling. They're like, I wonder what Damwon are up to. And Damwon Gaming, completely unaware, caught with their pants down, and on at least one member has been knocked down. So they now have to go for a more roundabout way out of the prison island, and that means they're going to be braving the blue a little bit longer. This is not looking good for the South Koreans.
But also, Cryptics shouldn't give away a strong chance of a phase 2 position just for a couple of extra kills into Damwon Gaming. So they take the 2 kills and they move on forward with that and be aware that Damwon Gaming could still be behind them. I like the fact that they took no prisoners. Pun intended on that, as BTR going up against a reject. Duello gets the opening knock on the Luxie, but the rest of BTR are there to react, and indeed they do. A return knock onto Duello, and there's really nothing the rest of reject can do.
Oh, reject. That's an unfortunate end for Duello. Sarah realizing he just has to just flick his wounds and make his escape. Reiji, he is doing a bit of combat driving, reversing. That UAZ is going to evacuate. It just jumps out. I was watching the latest James Bond movie yesterday.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, it's some pretty cool stunts with the vehicles. You know, a little reminiscent of what I saw yesterday.
Would you recommend it?
It depends if you like the Craig movies.
Do you like the Craig movies?
Yeah, I kind of do. You know, it's different. Yeah. I think at one point when I think Pierce Brosnan started snow surfing, I think wave surfing, with that bad CG with the invisible car, that's when I realized that James Bond has just spiraled out of control. I like the Casino Royales. Yeah, a couple of hits and misses. This is really good. Like, if you like all of Daniel Craig's movies, you would enjoy this. Some great scenes. And like I said, you know, I saw some of the driving coming out here. I'm like, yeah, it reminds me of Bond and his Aston Martin.
Now teams are looking to push in on towards this phase 2. Rico, very well played for them as they move into that kind of western side of the circle. They're just down south of Trailer Park, a massive hill, a massive spread they have on board. Cryptics are getting extremely close to the Infinity, but they're taking their time. BTR getting punished. Got Tunny with the knock.
Okay, Luxie charging in. They are taking the fight to Infinity. And Tunny just running around. He's found a little bit of cover. Barely though. It is getting shot at from multiple angles. The point of health is all he's got remaining. And BTR, it requires 2, but they will put him down. The Infinity lose a man, and they're not quite able to get that sweet, sweet revenge. Because the other members, Logan and Mela, having to go up against Cryptics, but these nades are brutal. Uzi able to find El Chapo from the distance.
Oh
and now
no!
Logan on half HP, needing to make something work. Senkai will be dropping. Look at Uzi's position. Look at where he is. They had no idea he was on top, raining death and hellfire with a mini 14. And Cryptics, I thought they had it, but Marshall's still around in the corner, and he's gonna find a knock. Leads away with a nade, should be able to finish up Mela as well. Now it's a 2 versus 2, and Uzi, as great as it's been thus far, he's so far away to try and make this one work. So the Infinity, they just might be down to the 1 man left standing.
I question Marshall's repositioning in that vehicle. I was like, what are you doing? Your team's fighting. It's a little bit late for that, but credit where it's due. He made it work, turned it around, and even the playing field in that fight. BTR couldn't really third party as we move on to Deadeye's guys going up against 628. This is on the northern edge of El Pozo. Phase 3 Blue Zone is closing in. It's shifted on Phase 3 down towards El Pozo. 2 games in a row, we're looking at a city finish. We are the circle cursors, and I absolutely love it, Blah.
Rof, oh no, Rof, he's been taken down by himself. Resident Enigma Galaxy, though, they might be able to res him, perhaps Hamodi. Some shots with a bolt action, trying to find the Xavier. Oh, there's another team who really needs to deliver this particular league, the final league stage. Having to sit out the previous week, they're not going to be very happy campers who'd be raring to get back to the Super Weekend again and qualify for the finals. For Rivals, meanwhile, transitioning through a number of teams. Fortunately, there's a bit of distance between them and Stalwart Esports, so they're going to find some cover. Deadeye's guys now having to go up against a Chinese side of 628. Fragboy, more than capable. He needs to provide the covering fire. That's a good crossfire. The hat, but Shifu will fall. Fragboy needs to unleash some bullets, but 6 to 8, unstoppable force of nature that they are right now. They're going to make quick work of Fragboy and Shifu, sir. And with that, Nice guys just down to a 2-man squad on top of Turu Love, and there's nothing they can do.
And I don't know if 628 had gotten the information that it was a 2-2 split by Deadeye's guys. I would like to think they did, but that was a very good push as a full squad from 628. They were in a bit of a pinch, and they made it work. Plus, that quick engagement is so important as we get into the end of Phase 3 and towards Phase 4. It will allow them to focus a lot more heavily moving into the next circle. Cryptics up to 6 eliminations as they play on the edge, punishing Reject, who are now down to just 2 players. It's looking a little bit dangerous for Reject in this league. Week 3, 0 points in game 1, heading towards a potential 0 points in game 2. The circle stands up and it goes down towards the southeast. BTR in a good spot, but for the most part, it is still an El Pozo circle.
Another urban finish. Love to see it. Miramar usually, considering the vast swaths of just open fields, you usually tend to see these open field endings. But yeah, this could get very, very interesting. Stalwart Esports, all 4 alive. Look at the position of one of the members up top. Truda's probably wondering, where am I getting even shot from? That vehicle's about to explode, and he will fall. In fact, he dies before the vehicle blows up. Stalwart Esports making very quick work of the final 2 members of Deadeye's guys.
Honestly, that's just silly play from Deadeye's guys. You're better than that. You're close to the edge of the circle. It's not like you have to full send it in with the vehicle. Wait until the blue zone starts to close in. Once again, you gotta recognize when is the time to move early, when is the time to move late. In this kind of circle, at this time in the game, moving late is a little bit safer than moving early. Deadeye's guys get punished. They are better than that. I'm gonna put a little bit of pressure on them in this league week 3 as we get closer to finding out who's going to be the 16 teams moving into the Super Weekend number 3. Stalwart pick up their first kill of the game off the back of that, as they have a lovely spread on the northern edge of this circle. Action on the very top of the building, able to grab a Hail Mary of information as Tong Jiabao wrapping around that northern side. 6 to 8 still on towards that northeast. Nova are probably in the best position of this Phase 4.
All 3 Chinese teams with a real chance of taking this, but Daoshi is in a bit of a pickle, and I don't really expect his teammates to cross that particular road just to res him. It's really not worth him. But he's going for it.
No way.
Oh, what a lad!
Really?
That's the sort of brother I want. That's the sort of friend I want. Yang, that's huge.
If that was me, I'd be like, you're on your own, mate. Sorry, take it by my nail.
Exactly.
Like, if that was you, I'd be like, sorry, blah, you're bleeding out.
And you know what? You know what? I'd be totally fine with that. I'm like, you go on, bro. Like, you go on, carry your name forward. But looks like for a 6-8, it's no man left behind. He's gonna get the res. And I think they just might make their escape. Jasper, MS Chonbury is making a lot of noises, sitting duck for King.
No way!
But the bullets, he takes taken down a Paraboy. He was getting shot at by another member of Nova. And Jasper, he meets a Fury and MS Chonbury down to a 2-man squad as Tang Jiabao longs. He's got 6 Stalwart Esports nearby. And Scry? I wonder if he's a little stuck there.
Rico is still outside El Pozo on the western side of the circle. They have to be very careful because they need to think about the fact that if that circle goes towards the east, they have to move across the road. They can breach onto the edge of Nova's position, but they can't easily breach onto Nova. Right now, the 3-1 spread from Nova with King a little bit deeper into the city allows Nova to focus a little bit more heavily behind them because they have the anchor point. But as the next circle pops up, it does go down towards the northeast. The 2-man team of Reject in a good spot. The 3-person team of BTR in a good spot. And the 2-person team of Cryptics just on the edge of the circle. The Savior! Could this be their turnaround performance?
Well, Infinity do get eliminated. They won't continue their reign of terror, at least on this map of Miramar. against, it's still going to be a deadly force. Well, I think Nuzi was able to take down one member of BC Swell. BC Swell, they need to really step it up right now. They've lost a member, but they still have 3 alive. Rico Infinity out in the open. They have a lot of land to cover. BTR, 2 members inside the zone, as 4 rivals and 6-8. A bit of an interesting battle here. Both of them are outside the circle, or outside of the next shift. So the decision to be made here is that they stick around, and they both decide. They both decide at the same time it's a fight not worth taking, and they're going to be pushing in and trying to find somewhere to call home temporarily. But wherever they go in, there's going to be teams waiting for them, as Tangja Bao are getting massacred by Nova.
Pretty well played by Nova. They reacted to that circle shift extremely quickly. H, sir, last player up, plays into the warehouse. A lovely nade. Actually, it's Paraboy with the shots on the third party to get the knock on the pop, and that allows H, sir, to stay alive for the time being.
For how long, though? Look at the number of players around now. He hasn't been spotted yet. Of course, we do have the X-ray vision, but Nova, 6 eliminations, all 4 alive. There's only one other team who's got 4 players alive, that's Rico Infinity, but they're quite far away, as Freak with a nice little spot and a shot on a 33Z from Enigma Galaxy. So off 6-8, sorry. But never mind. Daoshi, he might just finish off the job. Sunan gets caught out in the open as 4 rivals, and Enigma Galaxy going to use that opportunity to charge on in.
No way!
To 6-8. Can Hamodi pull this one off? Daoshi. Oh, he's going to go for the
res.
No, right in his face. No way, Daoshi. Oh, he's going to go around the corner, but Hamodi immediately peels away from the res and finishes him off. And with that, 6-8 are no more. BTR now on top of this little mound in a great position.
I gotta say, massive respect to Enigma for that. There's absolutely no way they needed to go for that. But recognizing that, hey, 6-8 aren't exactly pushing in. Maybe they saw the kill feed and thought, okay, we can do something with this. Rico, they're looking to do things on towards both Nova and BTR as they crevice up the mountainside. The 3-person team from BTR still standing tall. They are blocked for the time being away from Reject, who are much closer to Cryptic, so that should allow BTR to focus primarily on Rico, but they are at a player disadvantage.
I just blinked for a second there because I'm a human
and you
being.
Missed it?
Yeah, and I missed it. 6-8. I saw 3 players. I blinked. I opened my eyes, and they're
Stalwart. Yep.
That was very, very quick. 6-8. Oh, Ryzen. He is answering back. They've been getting harassed from these the utility being hurled at them from downhill by Rico by Rico Infinity, yes, by Rico Infinity, and BTR replying back. And for Rico, considering how far away they are, they can still be peppered if they show themselves to the direction of Nova. Jimmy, eyes peeled.
Lovely,
pushing
Zoxy.
in, but Zoxy, these nades are so precise. The follow-up could finish off the job, and Fidan is aware of this, so he's going to try and reposition himself as he is getting hunted down. BTR taking the fight downhill to their opposition, and Rico Infinity, it is looking very, very uncomfortable.
Nova need to push into the warehouse. I like this by Jimmy, even with the red dot pushing the last player, Tongja Bao. They know where he is. That's going to be the end. A nice third party by Jimmy on the Ryzen. As Ryzen pushes in, that's going to be BTR. Zuxi is going to get caught out down to half health. Fidan trying to switch over the gun to get the shot off, but the jump shot from BTR keeps them alive. The duo of Luxi and Zuxi with 6 eliminations staying alive.
10 points, 10 style points for BTR there, as Nova, they are starting to fall to the play zone. You called it out. You said they needed to rotate, but they didn't. They took too long, so they've suffered a couple of casualties as Reject now battling for the tippity top, and they will find Cryptics. Finds them all, and now 4 rivals, probably the only team with all 4 members still standing, so they're in a very good spot to make something work here. As Xavier, for the time being, they don't have to move, but they are getting harassed by 4 rivals right beneath them, while simultaneously taking shots at Enigma Galaxy in the distance. As Freak, he will be dropped by Rithal, is looking for more as well. Are they unaware of who are waiting for them downstairs?
I don't know. I think they have a bit of an idea, but there's no point in focusing on this team fight, right? They can coexist for the time being. But as we get into phase 7, the focus might have to shift. The last player from MS Chambori has been here for the last 10 minutes, prone down, hoping to not get spotted out. Reject. Rageoso gets knocked. Divine still alive. Zuxi pushes down the hill and says, "Nah, Luxi, you're on your own. Out of here." He pushes into the warehouse. That's what I like to see.
That's the right call from Zuxi. That is the right call. And sure, you unfortunately have to lose your teammate, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. But they will still stay alive. Your Reject still a two-man squad. BTR down to the one man. MS Chonburi down to the one man. 4 rivals in the Xavier sharing this building. And both these teams very healthy. Now, Enigma Galaxy out in the open, 3 kills. They have suffered 1 casualty, and Lord is very aware that the Xavier still have the crosshairs trained in his direction, so they're not going to budge yet. But eventually, these 3 teams, they need to make a move, and 4 rivals are going to be the one to do it first.
I feel sorry for NC2 because although he's inside the circle, he's kind of got 3 teams that's going to be heading in his direction to control the edge of this circle. Lovely third-party shots from the whole of Reject up the mountainside to lay pressure onto the Xavier. That's a lovely clean nade down below. Lord pushes up across. He's gotten closer to the edge, but yet to really make any kind of entry point.
The Xavier, considering still sticking around on top, it's going to be very, very rough.
God,
them,
so good, Lord.
Lord! Absolutely decimating them from the distance! From the distance, Enigma Galaxy will fall because they were hyper-focused on 4 rivals, and 4 rivals surprisingly getting helped out by their neighbors in the form of the Xavier, who are now in the blue. They're very, very low. They're even burning alive, and 4 rivals, I don't know how they're going to do this, but this is looking impossible. Only 1 man still standing, and Reject, the kings of the hill at the moment here in Imperium.
Xavier still healing in the blue. That's going to be the end of Frankie. Overall, a solid result from the Xavier as they fight for the spot in the 3rd Super Weekend. Pinboro is like, I'm not giving this point for anybody. I'm taking myself out. Deny the elimination, and we're left in a 1v1v2.
I love that for Pember. It's like, you kill me, I kill me. And he kills himself. Zuxi, he was being a snake for quite a while. We're down to the final 3 players left alive in the zone. It is going to be MS Chonburi, the sole surviving member, against the Japanese in the form of Divine and Regioso. And NC2, you said you were not envying his position earlier, and completely agree, but he's just been very quiet and he hasn't been spotted. And if Regioso isn't careful, if he gets knocked down, then it's a 1 versus 1, and then it's anyone's game. And looking at a circle shift, Reject might have to drop down from this cliff.
They have to drop down. They have absolutely no idea where NC2 is, and that is the advantage NC2 has. He has to move into the circle himself, but who's going to be the first to move? 13 seconds until this phase 8 starts closing in.
They're using all the utility they have just to flush out NC2. Nades, smokes being deployed as well. Yeah, there's going to be jumping into the smokes just so they won't be spotted. NC2 now. He's seeing them. He spots them. He's taking damage, and he will be dropped. Well played from Reject. Great timing on the drop. Great utility usage as well. And the Japanese, they claim their first chicken dinner here in the 3rd week of the league stage.
And I was worried about them at the start of this game, and I was thinking, oh no, this could be another poor game. I highlighted that they were down to 2 players. They had 0 points. They scored 0 points in the first game. But the way the circles work, a little bit of luck here, a little bit of control there, and Reject turning around to grab the chicken dinner, it was for sure helped massively with that kind of El Pozo dominance from a lot of teams that sent it into that city. So there was a lot more isolated fights around that area. It left the south and kind of the west side outside of El Pozo a lot cleaner to control, and because Reject didn't have to worry about BTR until they were kind of down to 1 or 2 players, it made it easier once he got rid of Cryptics to kind of survive until the end game.
I mean, if you just go back to it and considering, obviously in hindsight, everything's 2020, that particular battle between Reject and BTR, that was a battle for the chicken dinner, right? Because if BTR had won that, they would have been in the same spot Reject were, and BT are more than capable when given the zone and also given that particular angle. And for Xavier, for Rivals Enigma, I felt like they just got caught in this triangle of doom where it was like a three-way stalemate, like the good, the bad, the ugly, and eventually when they had to make a move, they were just sitting ducks for Reject.
And I gotta give props to Cryptix, by the way. Off the back of the chicken dinner in game 1, they scored 8 points with, I think, 6 eliminations in this game too. They are a team that need to qualify for the 3rd Super Weekend, and they definitely look like they're there.
Yeah, well, it's time for casters stop talk, analyst start talking. Jason, take it away.
It's now time for the analysts to stop talking game to start. So back over to our commentators, Bled and Pierre, to take us into our 3rd match of the day. Oh, I guess I rushed it a little bit there. Welcome back to Destiny, everyone. It was very quick, Destiny. You can talk about it at all. But Reject, hey, big step up out of them. Big props to them as well. Again, really kind of showing that dominance they had previously in week 1 when it came to Miramar. Getting themselves the chicken dinner, getting themselves 23 big points. And also kind of ruining the hopes maybe of 6-8, because with 23 points under their belt now from this match alone, they are getting very close to being qualified for that 3rd and final Super Weekend.
Yeah, that means 6-8 will have to hot drop every single game, which I don't think they're going to commit to that. That's a little bit overkill, I would say, Jason, so we'll see. But I'm surprised, actually, we didn't even... nobody of us on the desk actually voted for Reject after we hyped them up. No, they were a very strong Miramar team when it came to that first league play. Potentially, they'll try and make a comeback here. And it was a rough one, Tarzan, because they had to fight tooth and nail versus BTR. They were spotted out by 4 rivals. They were spotted out also by, I think it was Nigma Galaxy and also Xavier. The fact that they were able to outlive 4 rivals and Xavier was their winning condition to make sure they could secure the win. So they played it extremely well. It was risky, but it worked out at the end.
Yeah. I mean, they picked the right hill in around phase 3, right? Like we know this hill to the south of El Pozo being very, very strong, but it's also a huge area to control. So they've done a good job with keeping teams at bay and then just putting damage in whenever possible. And yeah, they played that well. And to be fair, we didn't vote for them kind of because the way that they played that last Super Weekend almost feels like they are still figuring things out when it comes to basic team dynamics or mechanics, like when it comes to potentially comms and when to let a player go. But I think this is an important balance, right? I think they even know that themselves, that they do well on Miramar. And this week, we've got the play for Erangel and Miramar. So that is going to be very, very good news.
Oh. Ooh. No. It wasn't the damage I was making a sound out. The longest to live destination. Our destination distance, as you see, right towards the end. So probably have the longest limb out of the entire lobby in that last match. 5 limbs, not too bad. 700 damage, not too bad. But I think for Reject, again, I think it's more of a morale boost for the team, like showing that, hey, yeah, we can still do this. We can still make Miramar a very strong map for us. We can still compete here really well and really boost up the morale going into the next Super Weekend, if they obviously do qualify there. But we can see Cryptix, first place, 34 points off the back of their first victory they had before Rivals again. Maxman, are they ever gonna get a chicken dinner?
I don't know, man. I think Ascend Stone, they just can't get the wins. I think for them, a win is 2nd place, and that's as far as it's going to go for them. But I mean, they're consistent once again. They've been consistent throughout every single stage of the tournament, not quite able to get those conversions into wins. If they can do so, that could be the big level up we expect from this team, right? But now, Jason, we had our 2 games done for the groups, for the first 4 groups. Now we're going to have teams of Group E joining the mix, and this is going to be super important for FaZe Clan. They need to start off strong with some big points to make sure they're making the 3rd Super Weekend, because currently in 17th in the overall rankings, they are not safe to make it for the league finals.
Yeah, it's do or die time for them for this next 2 days. But to be fair, it's do or die time for quite a few different teams who are looking to get into that 3rd Super Weekend and potentially get through into our finals. But again, if you're one of those teams sitting down towards the bottom, we need to see a drastic change going into the finals. You better put on your best performance if you want to make top 9. For you guys watching at home, there's a lot more rewards for you guys to be winning. If you're watching within the Esports Center over on YouTube, we have our treasure box for you. Accumulate points over time, and you can use it to purchase a permanent item for yourself. Maxman's gonna get that pan, and we'll pretty much throw it at us every single match we play, and just to rub it in. Even if it's on his team, he's like, "Hey guys, look at my pan!" And then yeah, all hell's gonna break loose. But anyways, as we move on throughout the day, you can see Cryptix taking match 1, Reject match 2, and then we have Erangel, Miramar, and Erangel to finish out our day. Really interesting to see how the rest of this day is going to break down. I'm a little bit sad to not see Sandhawk, because I feel like choosing Infinity every single match there would be very smart to do. But either way, I mean, I think if we were looking at predictions, I feel like I'm not really that high up in our little mini game going on. But for you guys at home, we want to get you guys involved in the conversation. We want to see your thoughts on which player do you think will have the most healing at the end of the day. If Sandhawk was in here, this would be extremely hard. If Sandhawk was in this pool, I would say Raouf would definitely be my choice, to be fair. Any of you guys have thoughts about this one?
I would have potentially said El Chapo. I think that's the player we've seen in the blue quite a bit, Tarzan, during the Global Esports also.
Yes.
Probably El Chapo, but to be honest, he hasn't been doing it that much recently. So it would probably be Raouf right now, which I would think heals quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, like we don't have Sandhawk, but I feel like they still have that strategy somewhere. Sometimes there are certain circles that you just can't make through. Like we've got two-seated finishes sometimes. That is the play that you need to have, right? So I think it might still be him. We just need to wait.
Okay, well, speaking of waiting, we're going to be doing just that because we have to head to a break. But when we do come back, we got our third match ready to go.
For this flame path, going from Primals all the way up to just between hang on a minute. I don't think carpooling is a thing in PMGC. To the side, get to the tree. That's your cover.
Get over here!
And get your teammate involved.
I don't know. I feel like this is a painful situation if you're Satar. Let's see if he has any tricks up his sleeve. This guy's got the moves. He's got the moves, got the PMGC outfit. He looks clean. He's right over the top of the car. I'm gonna need backup. Who's gonna go in now?
Magic Man himself, Satar. But in comes another player to try and what for, and this time, he's got a gun. Okay, yeah, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, dodging cars is one thing.
His longest wait is going to line it up, but he gets spotted out, and it is going to be the chicken dinner going the way of TJB somehow.
The holes in the floor, and they were surrounded, so well done to DXavier there to be able to make that one happen. Nova going versus Infinity. Actually, oh my goodness me!
Hang on a minute.
It's a 1v3!
1v3 Nova! My goodness me, Infinity, you've got to be happy with that one. A Lone Ranger out in the fields doing work for the Infinities as they stay alive. Nova get curtailed. Dealt with as Pika strikes finally. Moving forward, but around the side, Logan looks to rain in, but no, he goes down. And now it's just Mela looking for a 1 versus 2 here against Deadeye's guys as they push in. Goes low, but gets the knock. Goes around the edge, looks for the spray, but goes low. The weapon swap is good and is able to find the kills. It's Deadeye's guys going down.
As a reject, they're just trying to push everyone, and I'm too sure about this, but they're fine! From the sidelines alongside Sarrow, they're gonna find 1, 2, 3. Good night, Deadeye's guys.
Money for themselves in the long run. AJ and Renee, they're looking for that second place for sure, and then try to work with it from there. Lift takes massive amounts of damage, but it's Jumper with the double. Sends this into a 2v2 now. DRS immediately, they scatter, looking for better positions. They go wide.
Important that Jimmy is there.
I mean, they get a team wipe, so they don't know there's anyone else in this building. They think it's finished, they think it's done. And already Jimmy finds one. There's another up top side. Looks for the other, and he will clean it up. Jimmy!
That's to seal the deal. The nade could be good here. Pop standing between him and the chicken dinner. Maybe look to reposition for the fight, but the nade dunks down, and it is Love to stand tall. The man, the myth, the legend.
Sneaking in from the side. He can hear him, he knows where he is, and Manhunt just seems to be tunnel vision on the fact that he's across this little mound, has no clue, he's to his left, and it is
oh my god!
His longest wait is gonna line it up, but he gets spotted out, and it is gonna be the chicken dinner going the way of TJB somehow! They're going to be holding off the entirety of DRS, pushing in onto this onslaught now. Knock has taken place. Is going to be falling on top. This is a very smart play. Oh no! Oh no, Nima!
L easy from the hand side here from Yasna Poliana. Nice. They could move closer. They could try to stick together. They find the revive coming from those stereotypical locations. Yeah, boy. So we saw these teams drop on by. Don't do it. Don't save it. The paraglider is using this, okay?
Valo, though, in a position to maybe receive open arms. Reggie in a battle of his own.
Roger that.
Wall does get done. Will get down. Back up.
Help me! Roger that.
Sarah, in the meantime, has managed to push all the way up. But it's the holdout coming through from the Deadeye's guy, straight through the window. Lands some.
Just starting to make their way outside of Tiki, which I would argue is a little bit too late. A couple of teams were like helicopter! Extended more, and I'm sure others will join in on the mix. If there's ever a time to say, helicopter, helicopter!
It was at this moment that Nathan knew. He up. No!
Split coming out from...
What happened?
Come on!
Huh?
Oh no, what the hell?
Hello. Welcome back here to the show, PMGC 2021 East League. Maxman, you are not the host, but you know what? You can take it away. Go ahead.
No. I just wanted to answer your hellos, Jason. Oh my god, no. Please, you can't do this to me, Jason. You do this too many times. Game coming up. It's good. It's a good game. We've got Group E joining in. It's going to be good. Hell yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to take back over before the show just completely goes down the drain and Maxman shows up. To work never again within PUBG Mobile. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, like he said, we have Group B coming back into the mix here. But before we fully dive into Group B, Max, we got to talk about Oneplus and how it's our amazing sponsor here at PMGC with its flagship performance and immersive 120Hz display and hyper-touch technology made specifically for gamers. The Oneplus 9 Pro is your best shot to climb what, Maxman?
To climb up the leaderboards.
There you go. He knows it.
Yeah.
I know it. You all at home probably know it by now. But if we do talk about climbing up the leaderboards here with Group E coming in, teams like FaZe Clan, like you mentioned before, Max, are looking to climb those leaderboards and get into the Super Weekend.
Yeah, and I talked about this before the show actually happened. I think FaZe Clan had the best group to play from to make sure they can qualify, because they looked these two first games, one Erangel, one Miramar, and they know if there were some major changes happening, and they can try and adapt to those in the next 3 games to come today. So I think that's a really good position for them to be into, and hopefully they can try and interact a little bit better with the other teams that need to try and qualify in this third Super Weekend. So I mean, FaZe, if they can start off strong with maybe not chicken dinner but top 3, that will be a really strong start from them in this third league play.
Quite important, because last time we had this Erangel plus Miramar League week, they were right at the bottom, guys. So that was the huge disappointment in week 1 for sure. And coming back, same setting, same league format, they need to come in stronger. But from that group, we also have the likes of Genesis Dogma. Blank call them the Komodo Dragon of PUBG Mobile. I quite like that. It's just the way that they play is causing so much disruption, and it just works. So that group, alongside DRS Gaming and Team Secret, has a lot to bring to the table.
Well, you know what, gentlemen? It is time to get our predictions in yet again. I'm just going to throw mine out there because, you know what? It's probably going to be the same pick every single time. Unless they're not playing, then I'm going to pick them even more. Infinity. Because, you know what? They're the best team here in the lobbies every single time. That's my choice. Tarzan, you on the end. What do you got?
I've got FaZe Clan. I mean, I mentioned how I want them to start this week strong, and I feel like they have shown signs of improvement. So I want to vote for them, and that will be my choice for this
Really?
week.
Okay, I had to scroll back to make sure that you weren't cheesing it here. You actually did say FaZe Clan. MaxBet, who did you say?
I actually chose my pick before Tarzan, just to make sure he's not going to pick Genesis Dogma. So that's my pick this time. I mean, Daybot has been playing extremely well with Satars recently, so we'll see if they can get himself a win here.
We'll see indeed. Let's head over to our beautiful and lovely casters. Oh wait, sorry, it's not Blend and Pyramid anymore. It's John Allen and Blake.
I was going to say which one of us is beautiful, which one of us is lovely, because we can only be one at a time. That's the rule. We're like the oracles. No, the oracles. I can't even remember what I'm talking about. Greek mythology. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole blank, but let's get into Erangel instead.
Yeah, there's not three of us either, so you know, upsetting. But one of us has to hold the eye, and it's going to be me right now. I'm looking at this map at the moment as we head down from Stalber down to Primos. I'm going to let you know what's happening before I pass the eye back off to you. Not sure how many people know that reference, but if you do, you are a Greek god. I'll put it that way. Stalber down to Primos, a little bit fairly central. Honestly, I wouldn't say it really hinders a lot of people. It does mean 628 is going to get out of this plane very late. The Infinity also going to be getting out quite late down towards Sosnovka military base, so there is potential for reject this time to not get caught out like they did in map 1 versus the Infinity, as they have a lot more time to set up around this map.
A lot of open area to be covered. Out early, Team Secret. And in general, this is obviously the first outing of this week's gameplay for 4 of our teams. They're going to be looking to make that mark. Predicting FaZe Clan, I feel like, in general, it's very hard to call this early on, so we'll have to wait and see what they're going to be able to do to impact into this lobby. But we're also looking at Genesis Dogma, DRS Gaming, and Team Secret into this map for their first entry play.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of teams in here that are coming in now, but there's a lot of teams we need to keep an eye on. I think they're obviously BC Swell. Not sure if they're in the lobby this time, I don't think so. But a team with only 5 points so far, you know, they didn't make it through those last 2 Super Weekends, so they're more likely not going to go through to that final, unfortunately. In fact, I would 100% say that they're not going through to the final. But look at our rankings at the moment. Cryptic's up there with 34 points, desperately trying to get their way into their 3rd Super Weekend, just barely brushing into that last one in our last league play into Super Weekend Week 2, and now looking to recreate that success here a little earlier on, which is much more favorable to you. You don't want that to be happening on your last Sandhawk, but it was very much down to the wire. I think it was 1 placement point between them and Nova. Godtony's on the bike though. Bye-bye.
Oh, wow. That was close. Lons was trying to run him down before he got to the bike behind the tree, but yeah, they're just going to send their separate ways. Not ideal to get the 3-wheeler. That's fairly ideal though. Genesis Dogma starting off well with a point.
I don't like going too harsh on some players, but I think we've been having discussions in the green room on Xavier. They need to get 1 more Super Weekend and have a good Super Weekend to make it happen. I'm actually quite a big fan of this team, but Rabbids has just been quite lacking for me, to be honest with you. I think there are some players on that team who are, in my opinion, very much PMGC level teams towards the top side, level players, sorry. I think if I looked at them, I was looking at Lamborghini, for instance, as well as Frankie. But, you know, the team is just not being able to put up that same performance. I'm not sure if it's because Rabbids is not putting up that extra front as a player, or as if he's playing a more supportive role. But even here, just going down like that, it's very unideal.
Yeah, and with that, it brings Genesis Dogma up to 1/4 of the points total from the team just above them in the tables. In Stalwart, unfortunately, Deadeye guys who are playing in this game still only have 3 points so far today. Over the 2 games, hopefully they'll be able to change that. There's not a lot you can do in that scenario. I feel like Xavier dropping on those vehicles and trying to get out wide. What do you change for that? I mean, maybe you have to alter your drop spot, but I feel like that maybe wasn't as user error as maybe it could have been.
I would disagree, John. I would 100% disagree with that situation.
Right.
I'll tell you why. Because I think that you have the right idea of it, that DXavier's drop spot there is not in any terms of user error. What is a user error, though, is understanding that Genesis Dogma was playing that Super Weekend and had 15 games of free reign over towards Lipovka, Milta, and Prison. I think you're coming into this league play, you're playing against Genesis Dogma now, you should know that a team that's doing that well is going to be confident beyond belief. And the amount of control they're going to be having over that side of the map is going to be ridiculous at this point. So I think DXavier need to take that into account, to be honest with you. Playing so close to one of the best teams in the lobby, I think in that situation, you either all drop Lipovka or you drop a Lipovka mansion split, and you don't even dare go down towards Shelter or Prison area. You stay out of the way of Genesis Dogma. That's what I would say in that situation, and I feel like that is something that you could garner just from watching the Super Weekend and taking that just precautions.
Definitely potential. I mean, I feel like that's quite a good dive into potentially the theory crafting behind that drop spot. But either way, DXavier lose a player early on. And the circle moving out to the eastern side means the Infinity are going to have to cross their bridge. Choose your poison, though. Tongjabao holding that western bridge. Genesis Dogma near to the eastern bridge. And probably the team that you'd run into if you wanted to cross that. Blank, are you looking at either of those two options and thinking this one's better than that one? Tongjabao maybe not used to holding that western bridge. We normally see it as either Reject or 628. Or is that eastern bridge just a better bet overall?
I think for this game, Genesis Dogma can, again, it's crazy to say this, but I will say that Genesis Dogma is one of these teams that loves to manipulate other teams in the lobby. They're like the grand puppeteer of the PMGC so far, and I think that Eastern Bridge is probably more dangerous in this western side. And the Infinity, they've had a lot of practice getting over the western side. I would say that's probably the better approach for them. Tongjibao, like you said, they've not had a load of practice holding out this bridge camp, and I think that the Infinity, with the amount of times we've had to cross this and come into contact with 628 early, this side is probably much easier to go through than it is to go through Genesis Dogma. And if the Infinity have been doing their homework, which I imagine they have been doing, they keep coming to me after class and I keep grading them 100 out of 100, just like Jason with his The Infinity prediction every single time on desk, which in my opinion is just genius. I'll see what happens though. They might get over the eastern side, but I doubt it, especially with that circle heading over towards the east as well. Genesis Dogma can stick around Milta for a long time, whereas it's on the onus of Tongjibao to move instead.
Definitely necessary to shift away, so could not stay there for as long as we've seen those bridge camps go for in the past. But the Infinity is only one team, and there's plenty of others in this lobby who need to make their way in. Obviously, the first entry from Team Secret, currently playing from Kameshki Stalba split, and at the moment, their position actually doesn't look too bad. They've got a lot of rotational paths available to them. In the future, down that eastern coast, they can even get in there and try and sneak across some bridges if it goes out to the west, if they so choose. And I feel like at the moment, Team Secret are in a pretty decent spot to be getting on with.
Yeah, I think that, to be honest with you, I think there's only one other team that I can remember that plays this spot, and I don't even remember their name, to be honest with you, because I don't see it very often. But I think the Kameshki Stalba split is something you can definitely play, and it gives you advantage in terms of like information gathering earlier on with the elevation that provides you in that location. You have to go for a grand split though, because you can't all sit on Stalba, but there's not enough control given to you. I do think it does cause some problems towards the later part of the game, and there was that one time that we saw Team Secret absolutely blasting when they flew down to Rozhok and quickly took up position, and that's the Team Secret I'm used to. And I do think that sometimes they can be quite hesitant. I think that started to come into play a little bit more recently. Obviously, this is their first game of the day, so I'd like to see what they can do here on Erangel. And again, if anything to go by, the first match of Team Secret is nothing to kind of base the rest of the performance on, because they can have a very good first game and then just completely plummet for the rest of the league play, or have a very bad first league play game and then just completely rock out of control after the rest of the league play. It's hard to determine what Team Secret's going to do, and I think they are a little bit of a flaky team sometimes. I'd like to see that change.
They're maybe a little bit more volatile, I think, is what you're getting at, right? Like they have really high highs, but low lows as well, fairly consistently. Yeah. You know, sometimes they're popping off, getting all the defeats in the lobby, and
yeah, they get
really just
all
giving
the defeats, bro.
Really just giving it, but
yeah,
then
they
sometimes
give it big time.
Sometimes they're the ones getting defeated, you know.
It's hard to It's hard to analyze sometimes with a team like that, and I think it's even harder when they play up towards Kameshki when there is awkward rotational paths for them, especially with so many teams playing over towards this eastern side. It's very much a case of find some landmass, grab it, and then have to work your way through, as opposed to looking at Genesis Dogma, who when BTR in the lobby, they control all the way down to Milta. They have a very clean time of it coming up towards that southeast side. It's difficult to do, and I think that Team Secret have put themselves in this rough spot. But I think it's just a place that they're comfortable playing with, and that's fine. If that's how they want to go, it just needs to change in terms of that volatility, like you say, John. Can't continue like this.
Northeastern side, we'll see if they can assuage their volatile results, and in short form tournaments, it's even worse. I mean, to be fair, in longer form formats, when you're playing more matches, volatility is fine because expected value of your play still remains about the same because you have a large enough sample size. It tends towards that average. But yeah, it's 8 game sets that really do not play well for it. Cheeky little spray down there. Fabian looks like he's going to pick up 1, pick up 2 defeats for himself as well. And Downward Gaming, 2 points.
Yeah, easy stuff for them. We'll pick up some good points. I think Downward Gaming really on the cusp of dropping out from this tournament, to be honest with you. This next Super Weekend is super important for them. We see some good things from them, but it says a lot when their highlight moment is literally having a snake in the grass stealing a chicken dinner from a team. That, to me, says a lot. I think that's one of their biggest moments. And yes, it was super cool, but at the end of the day, it was a robbery, right? It wasn't something that was deserved in that situation. Not to say that Sung didn't play it out perfectly in those final moments. Let's go back down to the Infinity, though. Theft. Yeah, we don't like theft. Let's go down to the Infinity really quickly because they have gone to the Eastern Bridge. And you know what? I'm okay with this change. I think that, you know, given everything, the Western side, if it played out normally, maybe that's the one they go to. But with this shift and understanding that BTR are in the lobby and Genesis Dogma are likely to move, that Eastern side is actually quite cleared up. And I personally will take it back. This is probably the better play. I think that Tongji Bao personally have stayed out in the blue for far too long on that Western Bridge. And I don't know how the Infinities predicted this, but it's a great predict. And that is why I'm not a pro player, and these guys are, because they are insane at understanding these other teams. And I can only learn from that.
I mean, we can only hope, right? I mean, there's a reason that we're not in there earning the big prize pool bucks. Otherwise, maybe I'd give it a go. But no, I'm content with just talking about it and criticizing when I can see something that's going wrong with my overview and entire knowledge of the entire game. You know?
Exactly. We're almost omnipresent in this match. So we're everywhere. We're in the vehicles. We're in your back seats. You know, you can't get rid of us.
It's impossible. I'm like a bad smell.
Yeah. Even if you got 4 players in that car, don't worry. I'm in the boot.
Booting about. Genesis Dogma, shots over towards Xavier. They're not going to leave him alone, Blank. I mean, it looked like they were just going to take one and say, you know what, you guys, it's fine. But they're back at loggerheads. Lamborghini spotted on the hillside. Daybot gonna lean on out. Not quite landing the shots to find it.
I do feel sorry for Xavier in a way, because if we go all the way back to Super Weekend 1, if you remember that, John, you know, Miramar and Erangel were always rough for Xavier because Genesis Dogma would just toy with them the entire game, just slowly cropping away the numbers from that team, and that's pretty much happening again here. And it's very similar for them. For Genesis Dogma to quickly switch on a dime and just go immediately back to that playstyle with Xavier in the lobby, again, really does speak to me that they are just this manipulator. I really do like they have a very good understanding of all the other teams' lobby. But again, I want to be able to talk to you guys about discussions we've been having in the back, you know, in our own time. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. You know, drop them in the chat. Maybe we'll read them later. But honestly, for us, we're thinking that Genesis Dogma, they're not that top dog yet. If we pitted them 4v4 versus Stalwart, I would assume that Stalwart would win that match. I think that Genesis Dogma just does have a very different playstyle, which is about us gathering as much points as possible whilst, you know, slowly poisoning those other teams within the lobby to the point where they're in the best position. Because Genesis Dogma, their best case scenario versus Stalwart is going into a 4v2 versus them, which is something they can easily make happen towards the end of the match. And that's what I really like about them. They always swing the odds in their favor.
Moving out to the west, it's a hard shift, Blank, and everybody's moving towards the field between Pachinki and School. Looks like we're having central circles today. 4 rivals, pretty close to DRS, but they are only 2 players strong. both in the same buggy as well, so dangerous times for the four rivals and their fans as well out there.
Looking at Nova, coming off that Erangel, that Miramar, sorry, with 14 points. Looking pretty good so far. I think that this is a team that desperately needs to make it into that third Super Weekend. In fact, they do need to make it in. So at 126 points, need around about another 80 or so to see themselves at least a little bit safe to get into the finals.
Ooh.
Nice nade goes through onto DRS. Nima hits the floor.
Gyalzen's position's entirely known. That should be cooked perfectly, but not finding the damage. It looked like maybe it was going to hit, but no. Another one sent over the top as well, and Gyalzen has to be worried. Spray underneath, but not landing. Somehow he's just dodging around this damage. Finally, a bullet lands, but the rest of DRS up the top, they've crested that ridge. They have those sight lines, and Booms is suppressed now.
Again, another nade goes through. Needs to get it behind that car.
How?
It's almost directly on him, but Gyalzen managed to dash away. But more nades are in hand for Booms. Throws another one. This is great understanding of this fight. Finally does go down. Now DRS down to just 2 players remaining, with Genesis Dogma still sat at 4.
In the meantime, Team Secret taking on the Infinity. Actually, looks like they're going to give up Kid there and leave away with the 2 they have. Res is available for the Infinity, and look, Godtuddy's just going to finish this one out. Should be pretty good for them, but they're going to have to push up north. They've got the Pachinki Fields in their way. Tongjiabao in those long houses blank on the east side of Pachinki Fields that we saw that bloodbath come through on last time.
Yeah, Kid will be defeated now, so he's down and out. DRS though, they've looked for a location to hold, but Genesis Dogma, they don't want anyone at their back, so they're looking to crest into this, knowing that they've shunted the Xavier away from the position. They're down to 3. Again, it's all about that manipulation. Genesis Dogma now can take this fight freely, knowing that the eastern side is fairly clear. Again, this is a great fight. They're looking to finish it up. They'd love to get rid of all the players. There goes in the window.
It was a smoke,
Again,
maybe.
It's just smokes everywhere.
Genesis Dogma pushing in 2 players. The DRS on the hold. AJ still healthy enough to take a fight. For now, anyway, Genesis Dogma want to push in, and it's 1-for-1 on the trade. Satar's low. Naturally, 2 of the players from Genesis Dogma have gone down here, so now just 2 players standing, 1 versus 2. Mafia Ninja out wide, wants to be the savior to swing on these kills, but out pushes Daybot, and it's the backstab coming in. Genesis Dogma stay alive, and 2 more defeats to add to their tally, up to 5.
Yeah, great nade coming through from AJ to start that fight off. Unfortunately, Mafia Ninja, I don't think he was ready for that, and that's fair enough. You don't really expect AJ to hit that massive grenade if you're not in position to take it. Tongjiabao right on the edge of the field of Pachinki at the moment, trying to take fights over towards everyone else. This is nice. So we've got the fields, we've got Potato Hill still in the lobby as well. So there's various little bit of features and scenery available to these teams to play this one out. It's a little bit awkward, but we do have these fields. We do have like the tank rallies over there that you can play with and gives you some free hard cover.
Drops downhill from 6-8. Controlling the potato right now, and a valuable position it is to have that sort of high ground, that position, that oversight, such an open part of the map. No one else really vying for it at the moment. Deadeye's guys maybe. Down one Kia, maybe looking to push down south, but at the moment, 6-8 looking fairly strong now.
Yeah, it's a good position, though 33Z needs to be careful he doesn't get backstabbed by Genesis Dogma. I imagine they'll move from that position at some point. It's the problem with 6-8 a lot of times is they'll take these very aggressive splits. I kind of expect one guy to hold down something that realistically you should have 2 or 3 people holding. I will say it's one of their flaws, but honestly, because they are such a strong team, they can make it happen. Paraboy has been on an absolute tear this entire tournament. Unfortunately, the rest of the team slightly letting him down, I would say. You know, me and Claris, you know, we're always talking about how Paraboy just got these ridiculous numbers, whereas the rest of the team just looking a little bit lacking at the moment. But at least Paraboy's back to form, and that's what everyone's happy about.
And 14 points so far. If they can keep up that track record, they might just be able to get into this next Super Weekend, but we know it's all swings and roundabouts. 4 rivals eliminated in the meantime. Infinity on the south side swinging down. This is the 2 remaining players from Team Secret that managed to escape from the last fight. Fredo and eye shots. Infinity maybe having their sights set on this position, but I feel like they just want to keep on this ridge line.
Yeah, the Infinity don't really need to move too much at the moment. The next circle is probably where they're going to think about where do we go next, because there are so many features within this circle. It's difficult to make a decision right now. You know, Potato Hill could be the next position of contest, could be over towards the field side. It is difficult. Right now, Infinity have a fairly safe spot that looks downhill. It's a good place to be to decide where you want to be next.
So close to cresting that ridge for the Infinity, but not quite finding the angles. Lons dominating the open fields here. Managed to get a shot over towards Cryptix, but they're in this next circle, Blank, and they don't have to move. They can stay on this hard cover. The difficulty would come on that next maneuver for those teams out in the field.
Yeah, look at this though. Genesis Dogma, they moved to the backside of Potato Hill. 33Z has left at this point, hearing those vehicles. That's a smart move, you know. They don't have to hold that position, but at least they now have a little bit of information that there is a team behind them. This is what I'm talking about. You get that move over towards Potato Hill, and now you need to change position. Jimmy goes down for Nova. Still have Paraboy out in the blue, looking to crest that backside of Potato Hill.
Genesis Dogma even further back behind it, so potential tricky territory there. The Infinity, I think they spotted Team Secret down here, or maybe not actually. I'm not entirely sure if they're aware of this. Yeah, look at that. Mela has eyes on Uzi, starting to pop those nades down. The suppressions there. Paraboy, Dream Dead, out in 13th, going down low with a low point count as well, sticking on 14 points. The Infinity, I don't think they want to push this. They're just going to wait this one out with Circle Shift.
It's kind of hard though, because you almost have to push this side of the map and remove Team Secret, because ideal rotational path would be over towards this eastern side. You don't want to have to rotate through the fields on the west. You're going to have to deal with DXavier in the future as well. You could move up to Damwon Gaming's position just underneath Potato Hill. Again, it's still dangerous. Enigma Galaxy flying up to 628's position. They have got a knock already.
Ooh, there's an opening. The door has been left ajar, and they just need to push their way through. Shoulder to it, force first. Sunan on the off angle, though, might be able to swing out on the side. And look at Junie's position as well for Dam 1. If they spot Enigma Galaxy here, it could be curtains. El Chapo, not so lucky. Try and move through. Cryptic's really suffering. This is the open ground move that I said would be so difficult for them, Blank, and they're getting cut down, eliminated.
Not good stuff. FaZe also up on this hillside now. A lot of these teams looking for any area of ingress. FaZe currently outside of the circle. Blue pushing in. 628 in their sights.
Looking for more as well. MR5 does fall down there, but the Infinity still pushing in from the south side. Enigma Galaxy, I don't know how they've managed to hold on to this hillside, but it's gone well for them. They've popped those smokes. It's temporary cover, but they know the teams behind them have to push. That is excellent use of tempo there from Enigma Galaxy to play on this northwestern side. FaZe will have to move through them, but they've got bigger fish to fry in the Sharks behind them. MS Chonburi finally going down.
This is the issue if you're a FaZe moving up to this hillside. So if you go first, you've got those teams behind you to worry about. But FaZe deal with them handily. Now looking over towards Enigma Galaxy's position. Get a nasty defeat over there onto Ralph. That's Freak alive.
Actually getting some decent damage, but 628 are suppressing this position as well. FaZe getting guarded out by 2. They've managed to shuffle their way in towards this circle. Fighting rages on. Genesis Dogma, they've seen Team Secret, but Infinity, they've seen Tong Jabal moving forwards. It's God Tunny leading the charge in towards the representatives from PEL. Tong Jabal move in to get the back up to the teammate. They want to keep 4 alive. They want to move in as a single unit to this next circle.
Yeah, having 4 for the Infinity is so important at this stage of the game, especially when you're right on the backside of this circle. It moves clearer up towards Potato Hill, and Genesis Dogma's got a fantastic position right behind them. Looking at that four-player man advantage with players on either side, they're gathering so much information, they don't have to fight. This was so cheeky from them. And they remember, they got rid of all those teams on the eastern side, which allowed them to make this play. It is really good stuff from them so far. They will have sightlines down towards DXavier. But Team Secret, again, it's that rotational path from Kameshi that kind of comes back to bite them, because they're forced to rotate down towards that east and then further east again, because they don't have any priority within the circle on that northeast side in the first place.
Oof. 11 elims for the Infinity so far. They have 3 players alive and they're looking for more. Mela picks it up to 12. Those defeats just keep on racking up, but finally, they might have met their match. Only Logan standing. Spots Lons, gets the spray, and Tong Jabal, they get eliminated as well. Okay, looking for the rest potentially, but no, there's no way you get any further than that. 13 defeats there, Blank. That is a hefty points total for the Infinity.
Yeah, it's very fat, but now they go out finally with Mela going down and Logan being taken down by Satar. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Genesis Dogma, they don't want a 4v4, they'd rather take that 4v1. And if they can go for that anytime they can by just causing chaos on the back, they bite and they follow. And eventually you will become prey.
Run them down. Dread it, hide from it. They are inevitable. Controlling the majority of the circle right now. They're going to snap anyone who stands up to them. But 6-8, they've given ground here, Blank.
They have given ground. Just a little bit. They've got to deny that space, though. I mean, they know that FaZe has controlled a lot of this area, so they're going to go into that 4-man split with the lineup. This is really good. There's not really any cover here, but Vintorez, if he can get at least one knock here onto 6-8, they can flood over the top of the hillside.
Quite seeing those pixels. I think he... I'm not sure if he spotted Dao. He definitely spotted Dao. She now goes in for the shots, but a really prescient fallback there for Dao Shi to get back into safety as Vintorez goes for a different challenge instead onto Sunan. And there's backup from the rest of FaZe, but two of them have fallen down. 6-8 struggling, though, to hold this out fully. MR5 spots 33Z, and Yu Yang, having already gotten knocked, leaves one player for FaZe standing, but none for 6-8. Elimination, 5th place.
Fantastic stuff from FaZe. I mean, that's not an easy push to make there. Nice nade from Satar. Will take that Lamborghini from the Xavier. Now Genesis Dogma can start to move up. They surely must have heard that fight between 6-8 as well as FaZe. Fortunately, they're giving them time to get those players back up again, but I think Genesis Dogma are worried about the Xavier once again. They want to control the entirety of this circle. It moves down towards them on that south side. Just grand stuff so far.
Genesis Dogma should know that they've got maybe 30 seconds after the end of that fight for 6-8 and FaZe to have a look at these other teams and then fall back to deal with it. They have such a commanding control over this circle. And it's not only that, Enigma Galaxy are looking out their way. Freak looks for one, looks for two, and now MR5 left yet again. Last standing for FaZe, and there's the flushes coming through as well. One player more. And up the hill, they have to crawl. Genesis Dogma with 4 alive. They bot down, 9 defeats on the board. Blank. This is just impeccably played from Genesis Dogma.
Yeah, even from the start of the game, that first knock onto Rabbiz, they started to move further towards the beginning of the circle from just that. Like, it was just the beginning of an end here for Genesis Dogma, and it's so wonderful the way they play it. Hamodi goes down, Freak wetting in the grass, Frankie out far side, FaZe looking limited, and the 4 players from Genesis Dogma just making a mockery of this circle right now.
God, they are just dominating. Brilliant fashion here. Genesis Dogma, they slide in the back and they get those shots done. Freak finds one spray down but won't find any more. The blue zone too much to handle. MR5 ladders up to 2nd place for FaZe. The prediction not quite there, but either way, MR5 now. I mean, he has got a good angle here, Blank, and they are lining up somewhat. The question is, do they know where he is? It's all to play for here, but Genesis Dogma have every advantage. Nikhil going in, going low, but it's only a matter of time. Genesis Dogma dominate. Nobody stands up to them on Potato Hill. They will boil everyone in this circle.
They will boil everyone away. The bubbles are rising. And so are Genesis Dogma. At the moment, they are looking ridiculously strong as a team, and they're not going anywhere, John, whatsoever. It is perfect stuff from Genesis Dogma so far, and I'm honestly surprised that no one can contend with them on this eastern side. And in a way, I'm not surprised either. The way they play this out is fantastic so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it might have been a little bit of 6-8, you know, moving forwards to try and guard the front of their position, but they had a dominating control over Potato Hill before, and Genesis Dogma just went, oh, actually, what if we went there and took your old position and crunched you between us and FaZe? How would that go? How would you enjoy that?
Yeah, I mean, the circle, yes, favors them over to Potato Hill, but regardless of what they would have done, they would have cleared those angles, cleared those edges, and I think that even if it went over to that western side, yes, Tongji Bao had a very strong position over towards that western compound outside the fields. I still think Genesis Dogma would have had a fantastic time regardless of
Genesis Dogma,
so
I
really
like it.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what happens, this game was just perfectly played, and I don't really have anything else to say for it. Just from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, I don't think there was a single mistake from Genesis Dogma.
I don't think there's anything I'd change. You're right. It was phenomenal. And what a first entry into today's games as well, because remember, this is the first game they played. And with that, I think they managed to get a hefty number of kills. I know they were in the mid-teens, the low to mid-teens towards the end there. They're going to be looking good to almost qualify for this Super Weekend just off this game alone, Blank. It's a really good start.
Absolutely. Oh, sorry, I've got my cat here, and he wants part of the action as well, which is fair enough. You know, he looked at Genesis Dogma and he was like, they're a dog, but I still like them.
Oh well, sometimes the cats they just want to be part of the show. We got a couple of cool cats over on the desk to be part of the show for you now.
Yeah, cool cats here on the desk. Maxman, I'm expecting a bigger smile from you because the man who's been cursed with having the caster curse for a year. Over a year. Gets his prediction right. And in the very no. Maxman's team, don't try to take this away from Tarzan.
Well,
he picks them here in match 3, their first match of the day, and they get a chicken dinner.
Tarzan, you don't know how big this is for me, okay? I got a prediction right. Okay, this doesn't happen. This never happens. Yeah, Genesis Dogma able to get himself 29 total points, 14 eliminations. They played this game so well, and as Blank, I think Blank has been able to find 20 names for this team. They're all called the Komodo Dragons, or they're called the Master Puppeteers. Like, they got a multitude of names right now because this team can make anything happen. And how they played that Potato Hill finish towards the end there, they made sure no teams could actually get into the circle itself, man. It's insane how good Genesis Dogma improved, and their fragging power is second to none.
I think it's a very magical team to watch. They just got... It's almost like walking into the toy store every time you see them, like in every single game. They're extremely fluid, and I think it's almost challenging the meta, right? We talk about maybe it's like slow early game or whatnot, and maybe you have more splits in the early game. They play a bit more compact, but they are almost like the opposite. They'll fight you, they will pinch you, they kill you, and then they find a very good piece of land to a very good strategic split over. So that is actually quite fresh.
Yeah, and also Infinity. I mean, I didn't make top 3. You guys had first and second place chosen, but they had 13 eliminations. They were looking phenomenal until Genesis Dogma just decided to ruin their day from the high ground. But we can see the rest of the teams here. Nova has 0 points. A lot of teams with 0 points. But MVP. Oh, not bad. I thought Cloris was in here for a second. Coming in Booms with 1,007 damage.
Yeah, Booms has been the player that's been consistently improving. Normally, when you look at Genesis Dogma, you're looking at
Wait.
Yeah.
So according to the radar we're seeing here, he didn't even have the most damage in the lobby.
I mean, I don't think that's how this...
For the other guy.
Yeah. I don't think that's how this radar works, but you know what? We'll see how it works out. But yeah, able to get himself 1,000 damage. I mean, in such a pivotal position, that is what you pretty much expect. But Jason, this is still such a big surprise that Cryptics are still able to hold on to that first place. Of course, it's down to the tiebreaker rules that Infinity are in second and Cryptics in first. But I want to see this Cryptics we've seen today perform like this in the Super Weekends, and hopefully in the finals they do make it, because I enjoyed how they've been playing today. Sure, it's not been the most consistent results throughout the entirety of this PMGC, but at the end of this second week and also now, they've definitely stepped up big time. So I'm happy and impressed with where Cryptics are, but on the second page, this is where teams need to try and step up a little bit more. And Stalwart had a rough start of the day, and they was now only 3 points, so it will be unfortunate to not see them.
No, forget Stalwart. Look at Nova. 15 plays, 3 matches, 14 points. Nova need to qualify. They have to qualify for the Super Weekend if they want to make it to the finals, to try to play for top 9 and make it into the grand finals. And right now, they are not sitting pretty. They are not sitting well, and they have to play out every single match throughout this day. They don't get a break, except these obviously breaks we have between matches. They don't get that match off to really like reconsider some things and figure out what's going wrong. And this is a very scary sign. What's also scary is the amount of points and also free items you can get if you're watching within the Esports Center, the treasure box. You get points that you accumulate over time while you're watching, and you use that to unlock. That's not yet, guys. Not yet. That's not what we're talking about.
You gotta click it too.
You went way too early.
You can click everything.
No, you can't click this. We're on a stream. It's not interactable. They can't do that. But you guys can get points you can use to unlock permanent items, but also to help you get more of those points. Okay, now do it, guys. Below the stream. In YouTube, click the rewards button. And it's too late now. We didn't even get to show it. You can click the rewards button down there, and you get extra points to help out, to help you close that gap you need to unlock these permanent items. Miramar, Erangel, the last 2 to come up throughout the day here, A, B, C, and East. I hope you guys get your predictions ready and predict a team that's actually playing. But I'm curious to see, like, again, you guys' thoughts. Who at home, well, not who at home, you at home, tell us who you think the best teams from the West and the best teams from the East are. Maxman, if I were to put you on the spot right now, who the best team in the West is, who would you say?
Alpha 7. I'll have to go with
Cop-out answer.
Right yeah. What is the good answer?
S2G, man. S2G. Tarzan, what about you?
I feel like my pick's just gone got picked away. Like, I'm gonna choose Unicorns of Love. What? Like, but hey, you know what? The growth is there. We talk about rooting for teams who have a huge run through the competitive year, and they are one for sure. And the growth's still there. I believe in them.
Just gonna do a quick little research here. Unicorns. Hey, they're in 4th place. Okay, better than I expected. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 5 minutes till the next match is about to kick off. So we're gonna head to a short break while we get things set up and ready to go. We'll see you guys in a few.
NANI?! お前はもう死んでいる。
Are you guys doing your fan favorite votes and your daily missions? If not, you better be. This is the PMGC 2021 East League, and we're about to head into our 4th match of the day. I feel like today is just completely flown by, and we have no Sandhawks to be played, which makes it even more amazing to see. Maxman, you're off the back of a correct prediction. And again, we're going to show this to you guys here for your predictions of what teams will be playing. Hopefully you're choosing a team that is playing in the match, to both of you out there. But it is Miramar. Reject, they're not in the mix. They won the last Miramar. And I kind of want to start talking about predictions, but also at the same time, I kind of want to forgo it because I'm getting really nervous for some teams. Nova sitting there in 15th place, getting really close to potentially not making it through when they play 5 matches today and only 3 tomorrow. Then they have to sit back waiting, I believe, the last 2 matches of the day to see what's going to happen, what their fate will lay out for them. Xavier having a strong start today, Dam1 as well. A couple of these teams getting really close to making it through already in the first day alone into our super weekend.
Yeah, for Nova in particular, I mean, you pointed it out there, Jason. They are in a very scary position because after that little mini vacation during the PMGC and during that week 2, I expect them in this league play to come out swinging. But nothing's been happening for them right now. They've been a very slow team, very passive. They've only got themselves a total of 14 points out of those 3 games. So, and also they're in Group A, so they're playing every game today. If they finish off in a really bad position at the end of today, they're only going to have a small window of time to get those points back and qualify in the top 16 to that 3rd and final Super Weekend. So I would say Nova are in the worst position right now, with also Deadeye's guys that are also in 16th position. These 2 teams are not sure to make it into the Super Weekend, and if they don't, well, their adventure will pretty much end instantly.
Yeah, and going to like the whole topic of hot drops, right? If you go into tomorrow with only 3 matches left to play, Tarzan, and you're like really at the bottom of the table, you have to imagine some teams are going to do it. I would imagine that other Chinese teams won't do it, but someone's got to do it. Infinity, why not? Go for it. You're like almost qualified in the first 3 matches alone. Someone's got to go for it. It has to happen, right?
Exactly. I mean, for a team like Infinity, there's really nothing to lose. I think that's a key reason. But for some of these teams who need points, is that the way that you want to get points? That's a question to ask. I am a huge advocate of punishing teams in phases 1 and 2 when you study each other's macro, and we talk about this again and again. At the highest level of play, it's about knowing your style and playing it well, then understanding how other teams play. Then you try to farm off that, right? But we are back onto this map, and I think it's great, right, to see the mix of Group E playing their first Miramar game today, and that's going to change quite a few dynamics.
Yeah, it definitely will indeed. It's going to change your potential drop locations, potential rotations, and maybe I do want to make sure we focus on Nova in particular this match, as they are going to be playing this game from Group A. I'm curious, like, talk to me about their drop location, talk to me about like expected rotations, paths they like to use here, Maxman, because it's going to be very crucial for them to be safe.
Yeah, usually they like to go for the Minas Generalis big split, which they have started getting punished a lot, especially at the start of that second week, right? So teams have adapted a lot more, so they need to try and bring some new tricks to the table if they want to make sure they can have some good results on this Miramar, because Miramar is 50% of your games throughout this league play, and you need to make sure they can perform well. So
true.
I think they're going to maybe commit to a similar playstyle, but you need to make sure that you put big emphasis around scouting to make sure you don't lose those players very early. You want to aim for that win if you can.
Speaking of aim for wins here, Tarzan, you're aiming for a win with your prediction game. What do you got?
I'm picking Team Secret because they have some very important games in this tournament from this particular map with some very wide rotations, but sometimes these big games came in later on in the day or later on in league play. I want them to start, you know, their week, the first Miramar game of the week with a banger, and especially with Group D not being in here, I feel like some of the Eastern teams won't put that pressure on, allowing that segment to open up a little bit. So I think that you have more grounds to play with.
Okay, well, Maxman?
I activated my One Piece Haki right now, Jason. I can see in the future, and I can see a 4 rivals win. I'm on the streak, we're going for it.
Never watched One Piece, so I don't know what you're talking about here. I don't watch bad shows. My prediction, you'll never expect it, it's actually going to be FaZe Clan. No, I'm just kidding, it's Infinity. It's always Infinity. I mean, why wouldn't it be Infinity?
I thought...
I'm on the Infinity hype train the entire event until finals, where I'll probably like rethink if I think they're actually going to take the victories. We know who I think will have a massive victory for us, and no, I don't know what this means. Drawing on a blank, just take it away so I can shut up and we'll watch the match.
Yeah, that's good job there. Good job there on that one. The Infinity, the prediction.
Pretty good.
And yeah, I'll give that one, what do you reckon, 6 out of 10? I think that's generous.
I give that, yeah, 5.5.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
We'll average out 5.75.
Would you?
That's your rating.
Okay, so I have a question for you, John, before we get into this game. When it comes to the out of 10 scoring, okay, you never go past the 0.5s, right? 5.4, that is well uncool. Who does 5.3s? Like, how are you even calculating that?
I'm not sure what the question that you're asking me is.
Would you do 5.5s? Would you do 0.5s? Or
Well, I have
would you do like decimals?
I have problems with the out of 10 system as it is playing, but that's a long story, and there's a hot drop going on between Genesis Dogma and Xavier.
Let's get into it.
In Impala, over on the eastern side. Maybe we'll loop back on the out of 10 rating system.
7.5.
Oh, okay. I don't mind decimals is the underlying asset on that one. Okay, I said hot drop. It's just a little bit of a contested drop here, but the shots do start to come through. And there, Boons actually spots the player over across the way, but no shots landing just yet.
I genuinely think this is targeted right now from Genesis Dogma onto Xavier, because Genesis Dogma have nothing to lose. They're making it to the finals regardless what happens. They have so many points at the moment in the Super Weekends. They can afford to just do this.
But why
Xavier? I don't know. It's just mean, isn't it? But I mean, to be fair, if you're comfortable with that eastern side of the map already, and Xavier coming in on it, and you want to control more of it, get rid of Xavier. They're a competing team for competing spots in the lobby. If you can get rid of them out of the finals, why not?
Hopefully I'm back on board. Production, let me know if you can't hear me. Hello. Hopefully I'm back on board. But you do have to wonder why Xavier, right? Why not go for a team that's higher up, sort of hamper their ability to keep on going, and see if you can affect them in greater ways, right? Because if you're already confident in your spot, why not try and ruin the chances of a team that's higher up? I don't know what the decision-making process is, but if it is targeted, I have to wonder.
No, I explained it, right? It's like they have competing drop spots, right? If you can get rid of Xavier from the start of the game and you have a very, very clean start of the game anyway, so much easier. So just get rid of Xavier. Get out of our Impala drop. Get out of our Lipovka spot. It's easy. It's easy money.
Get out of my swamp.
Get out of my swamp. My Genesis Dogma swamp.
You're right.
Yeah.
They're the Komodo Dragon Puppet Master Shreks now.
Exactly, right? And DXAV the fairies.
That's true. That's true. All the mythical creatures.
I can't believe you're agreeing with me. Okay, all the mythical creatures. I'll allow that. I'll allow that.
Well, they had all sorts. Didn't they? They had gingerbread men and Pinocchio.
They did have gingerbread men, but I think DXAV, what is it? There's like a dragon for the logo. I don't know. The Infinity. Let's take a quick look at them. Jason's fabled pick. It's crazy that he would pick him this game, right? He's never done it before. Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. Very
you know,
cool.
Very cool, Jason. Yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for DRS. You know, on that Super Weekend, after Imperium, you know, blessed them with the Imperium blessing. You know, it's all been downhill for them, really. I felt very bad for them in that way.
So is it a blessing?
Or is it a curse?
It's a question I ask myself every day, Blake.
Yeah. You know, see, I'm getting some serious analysis coming through from Kalaris.
Oh.
Yes, he's not on the desk today, but he is a diligent member of the broadcast. And I think he's almost agreeing with me here because he's saying that Genesis Dogma drops in Milta, DXAV drops north of them in Erangel, so Prism Mansion Split, which we know, and it makes their rotation easier to the northern circles if they're not there. So that's what I'm saying is that if they can get rid of DXAV, then there's no clash on Erangel. And knowing that Erangel is like the majority of your games when it comes to finals, when it comes to super weekends, getting rid of that threat nice and early, why wouldn't you just get rid of DXAV in this situation? There's no reason not to. So I love this from Genesis Dogma. It's the first time where I've been like, we've got a targeted drop spot, and it's working and it makes sense. And if the guys on the desk aren't getting happy about this, because I know every single time we get into a tournament, Jason's always there like, they should hot drop them. They should hot drop them right now and then like cause problems and chaos in the lobby. Here you go, Jason. Here it is. It's the Genesis Dogma versus DXAV beatdown.
At the moment, though, both teams managed to get out of Impala unscathed. The question is, do DXAV have enough loot to be getting on with, right? I mean, if you're splitting Impala and you have to get out a little bit early, it could be tricky. Same story for Genesis Dogma in this scenario. So despite dropping within each other's sight lines, they aren't quite going to have as a bombastic start. Oh, goodness me. Are
you okay?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I am. Maybe Genesis Dogma are hot dropping my diaphragm, giving me hiccups.
I know. I didn't realize that you drank the dreaded sparkling water.
I don't.
What's happening
I don't.
right
That's the devil's juice. You should never.
The devil's juice. The cursed water.
You should never even think
Imperium
about it.
blessed that water.
Oh, he definitely did.
Okay. DXAV.
It's defeating me.
Moving through. Yeah, it's defeated you big time. Moving through La Medita. Let's take a quick stock of the map at the moment because we do have this very western circle over towards Monte Nuevo. 628. You've got also Deadeye's guys as well as Rico Infinity also holding out for this position in Monte Nuevo. So it's very contested right now. We know that because it's a spot that everyone loves to rotate through. It's a great position to get you a couple of limbs on board nice and early. And it also gives you a massive control of the map. And with Monte Nuevo being so large, it can feasibly hold 3 teams if they are at distance.
We just caught as well DXAV all rotating in one vehicle, and I just wanted to highlight the Rabbits had no meds and like a level 1 helmet, level 1 vest. So very limited on the loot coming out of Impala with their drop close to Genesis Dogma, and we have had word that Imperium does in fact drink sparkling water. So.
Oh my god. Well, there you go. There you go, John. It's happening. It really is happening. The cursed water returns again.
Oh.
No water here on Miramar, though, so we'll see how these teams are able to, quote-unquote, flow through the rocky terrain of Miramar and see where they can actually get to. 628 still holding with this outpost for Yu Yang around Power Grid, so again, just information gathering game here for them at the moment. Genesis Dogma really haven't yet moved out of Impala, and I think DXAV is kind of set up, posted up to receive them. Don't know if this is the best idea in the world, but we'll see how it goes down. Again, Nova, another team that's on our screen right now, dropped in Picardo, starting to move out. This team needs a good round on Miramar. You know, we're in 4th game of the league play. They've already played a lot of their matches. 14 points is not a lot, and quite frankly, will not sit you in. Last league play, they were sat on, I think it was 36 points, John, if I'm not mistaken, which was very precarious. And again, they were out by 1 placement point difference between them and Cryptics. Yeah. So for Nova, it wasn't an easy path last league play either. So I'm scared for them. I really am scared for them. So 126 points, they need to make it into the 3rd Super Weekend if they want to have a chance at getting into the finals.
It also depends on who else gets into the finals. I think there's some shenanigans there. But last week, for league play, it was 36 points. That was the bubble between both Cryptics and Nova got 36 points. So you're right, it does need to be a little bit more, especially if they're playing over half their games today. Have to try and be a little bit more pressing. Here goes Genesis Dogma moving in behind DXavier, as you say. They spot Duck. This is a difficult drive for Duck to make it through. Has to dive behind this cover, but he's out in the open, and Daybot can't quite get the angle. Not quite far forwards enough. And the defeat eludes them for just a moment longer. FaZe, though, they have a little bit better luck, and they spot 33Z behind the party buff.
Yeah, I'm not sure what 628 are doing here, and this is where these wide splits come into effect and kind of bite them, because honestly, with this wide split on Miramar around Power Grid to the bottom of Monte Nuevo side, you're really opening yourself up to get flanked like this, especially in open areas. So I do feel like 628 could shore this up slightly, because they are so aggressive, so ridiculously aggressive. Massive hard shift up towards the northwest side of the map. Dear me, Damwon Gaming, Enigma Galaxy holding this one, but this might be a chance for DRS, finally.
Could potentially be. I was just having a look at what would happen if certain teams did or didn't qualify for this weekend. If FaZe Clan, if 4 of Deadeye Skies, Bigatron, FaZe Clan, DXavier, and Damwon Kia, as well as BC Swell, don't qualify, so that's 4 out of those 6 teams, then Nova are guaranteed to be making it through no matter what, because they are sat in 14th right now, and all of those teams are below them, right? So if 4 of those
get rid
teams...
of BC Swell from that list, because they're not getting in regardless.
Well, maybe not, but if Nova have 126 and they make 1 Super Weekend, that's an achievable target, right? It's more achievable than maybe it would have been if they were able to get into that 2 Super Weekend boundary, but it is still more achievable, and Nova wouldn't be fully safe just then. But if 4 of those 6 teams don't make it into the Super Weekend, then they're going to be okay.
Okay, so it's a good point. I like it. So we'll keep an eye on those teams. So we're looking at FaZe. I'm looking realistically at 2 teams from there, which I'm going to keep a focus on, which is Bigatron as well as FaZe. I think 2 teams that have had a slight comeback in the lobby and are looking to put up those points once again. It would be a real shame if either of these teams didn't make it into the finals. We know how good they can be, but they have been struggling through. Bigatron specifically don't have the best of times on Miramar. Luckily, we won't get to watch them, or at least luckily for Bigatron, we won't have to watch them until later on in the league play, which gives them a little bit more time to analyze what's going on with the other teams.
Newsy, not so lucky, does get defeated there in the building. The Infinity down to 3 as FaZe try and rock the hillside here, causing a landslide at the moment, but it's slowed to a little crumble. Not quite finding those shots. And the Infinity, I feel like they might want to disengage from this. Either that or they're going to try and move all the way up to this hillside and get the full flank. But I feel like disengagement might just be the order of the day here.
Yeah, I think if FaZe can get rid of the Infinity here, it makes their push on the south side so much easier. God Tunny's already swung out extremely wide. We know he loves to play these kind of positions for the team. Playing as a 3 does make it slightly more dangerous, and it is curious to me that this is what the default to in a 3v4 scenario, is sending God Tunny out wide. And I wonder if it's a case of, like, if they get an extra knock, yes, they can take that 3v4. If they take a knock themselves, they have a position to retreat to. So God Tunny kind of plays this anchor role for the team, which is not bad, and it means they can get a little bit further in the game.
Taking shots, God Tunny lands it to MF5, but doesn't get the knock. Tony K as well takes a little bit of flack, but they'll all be okay. 3 defeats so far for FaZe. They're just looking to hold on this outside. Should be okay for now.
Yeah, and I think for the Infinity, I would say this is what happens, is that they will default to this 3v4 scenario with God Tunny in the back bunker. They can get back up towards. He gets away, has Logan in tow, which it seems to always be Logan as well as God Tunny. I believe it was Mela taking point. So really interesting playstyle from the Infinity, always cutting their losses, which is potentially a reason why they are so far towards the top of the tables. It's just because they're consistently making points regardless of whether they have a bad fight in the early game. Whereas you might see some other teams take that 4v4, all go down earlier on. And yes, it doesn't look good for the Infinity having only 2, but at least they have chances to get more points later on.
DXavier there now not quite out of the woods yet. Over on the eastern side, still near Genesis Dogma. Yang trying to leave this location, but it's dangerous. Tumbles down the hill in the buggy, hoping against hope that a stray divot doesn't quite catch the tire in the wrong way and you go spinning out. Makes it back to the rest of the team. That was a death run for you, Yang. The fact that you came out that unscathed is a miracle, Blank.
It really is. Now, I would say that this is 100% targeted now, without a doubt. Purely because Genesis Dogma could be in such a better position right now over DXavier, considering they're in front, they can move forward into the circle, but they're opting to stick around here versus DXavier. So it doesn't matter for them if they go out in this game. This is what it feels like to me. They don't need to get a huge amount of points. They're already in 4th place off the back of that last game, John. So, and that's after 1 match played in league play. So they can take their time and ruin the chances here for Miramar, for DXavier.
Although easier said than done, apparently. 2 players down for Genesis Dogma, out in the open field as well. Very difficult to res. And Booms and Nickel not really in the greatest of spots to get back for this one. There's the off angles as well. Lamborghini should just be able to pick up these defeats and add to their points total. I mean, they lose Duck, sure, and that's going to slow them down, and maybe that's what they're looking to do. It doesn't matter if they go down. It's just whether or not DXavier make it as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, John. It's like DXavier now have a really tough run into the circle. They'll be coming off the back of the blue at zone 3, so it is hard for them. I do think it's going to be very difficult to knock DXavier out of the Super Weekend, considering they're starting this game in 3rd place with 30 points. They have played 3 of their matches so far, so 3 out of the 6. 3 out of the 8, sorry. So it is going to be very difficult to keep DXavier out if they keep scoring like this. And Genesis Dogma only have so many chances to make it happen.
Yeah, I feel like they might be fighting a losing battle, trying to control the qualification to this Super Weekend. But then what happens if we get into the Super Weekend and they're playing the same game, right? If they're going to be looking for that, because remember, DXavier only 1 Super Weekend played so far with a total of 106 points. They are very much at risk, and one of those teams below Nova that we were talking about, one of the 6 that would prove to be pretty crucial for Nova if they want to not be overtaken in those leaderboards.
Yeah, and they can keep that consistent in the Super Weekend as well and make life even rougher for the guys from DXavier. Remember, there's no rewards here for the Super Weekends other than getting to the finals. Genesis Dogma have all but secured that. So again, they can keep that going. Deadeye's guys coming up on 4 rivals. Sorry, Max. I don't think it's going to be this game. It's going to come at some point. At some point, 4 rivals will get a chicken dinner. I'm not sure when, but they certainly deserve one.
Yeah, I mean, they've had such an impact on this lobby, but just never been able to close out in those final moments. Tongjabao, they're finding knocks sent their way left and right. Man, now last standing for the squad, and out no man's land as well. Very difficult position to play from. The circle shifts southeast towards the Monte Nuevo crossroads, but not quite on it. Genesis Dogma, DXavier on the eastern side might actually have some of the best locations here.
Yeah, it's actually funny how this has panned out. Again, though, DXavier, they're kind of trapped on this eastern side of Monte Nuevo, but it's still a good position to play from. There's not many teams in this area, most coming down from that northwest side. Remember, we had that massive shift earlier on in the game around zone 2. So a lot of these teams will have to move down from that side. DRS, they're all the way up to the northern side. They took down a lot of players from Team Secret, so it's a good start to the game from them. Again, they really need to start getting those points on the board for themselves, though, because I don't think they're sat very pretty at the moment after having 1 match played and 0 points so far. So this game, second game for them on Miramar, has to be good.
DRS pushing in from the north side. Getting some healing done. Trying to move into the suburbs. Being a little bit gentrified. House prices have rocketed.
Wow, there's a lot of people around here. Deadeye's guys looking out towards them. I think the Deadeye guys really do want to make it into this Super Weekend. The way they're playing indicates that. They're very much trying to take point, trying to take position wherever they can. So historically, their Miramars haven't been great. They get into one position and then just kind of crumble from that spot when other teams start taking shots towards them. Though they have been able to block off DRS. Again, that's with the help of 628, I believe.
Ooh, Team Secret eliminated in the meantime. Enigma Galaxy on the western end have dealt with it. handled it. We'll be able to push in behind MS Jumburi. Deadeye's guys and DRS with 2 players on the hold, looking for a knock, a spray. The first one's good. AJ lands the final shot of the spray there. It's only 1 knock, and they need a lot more than that. Fragboy moves in around the corner, doesn't find the shots that he's looking for, and actually gets suppressed back. That's a second, not quite knock. I thought that might have been a knock. I fooled myself just a little bit. Mafia Ninja and AJ now, their health bars going down as the nades tickle around them. The 628 have eyes on.
This is a crazy push from Deadeye, guys. I'm not too sure about it or how it's occurred, but again, 2 players very low. DRS, we know they're able to fight in a 2v4 scenario. AJ did it last game with that double knock coming through with a nade. Oh, we'll come back to that fight later, I suppose. Tong Jiabao moving down. Manhan on the side. Rico Infinity Team also in that area. I don't think he's long for this world, John.
It'll be tricky. Depends how much Rico Infinity Team know about his position, right? They have to be worried about it, sure. I mean, he's in the shack. It's going to be a location they're going to stop by. DRS in the meantime, only AJ now standing in the face of Deadeye's guys. He's not quite finding the shot there. 5 defeats so far for Deadeye's guys. Manhand does get spotted out by Rico Infinity Team on that push. AJ now struggling. I don't think it's going to last too long, but still going, still trucking.
Yeah, honestly, for Deadeye, guys, this is not a good situation for them. Ooh. AJ takes down 1, will remove another player, and it's just making it harder now for Deadeye, guys. Yes, they get the 1 knock, but they're going to come under fire from other teams. Cryptics versus Rico Infinity Team finds the double. Lazy Boy making it happen.
Only the 1 left across the way as well for Rico Infinity Team. Everybody else is handled, dispatched, and Prestiga very low as well. Needs to get this heal off, needs to bide time. FaZe controlling the valley beneath them as Ralph falls as well. Freak just before Ventores backed off the ridgeline, but still excellent result to open up on the ground that they have in front of them.
FaZe looking for more points within this lobby, and that's fair enough. You're going to try and take as many as you can. Last game didn't go the way they wanted it to, but they still got a lot of points on board for FaZe. So their Super Weekend looking closer in their sights at the moment. But Nova, this is the big team I'm looking at. Shifu from Deadeye, guys, has a very good outpost versus Cryptics. Shots coming through, but it's about 1 billion bullets sent back his way.
Told to sit, will do so. Back down the stairs, looking for that res, and the sightlines not going to control. MS Jumburi trying everything to get into this circle, but there's so many people looking their way. I mean, you've got MS Jumburi looking to control this. You have FaZe looking down the hill as well. Enigma Galaxy. Just Hamodi on the ground. Lord looking to get this res. So maybe a little bit of an opening, maybe a little bit of respite for the Sharks. Nova sat atop this hill. Excellent compound, excellent control, and set to make a lot of points here.
Yeah, they've defeated 6 people as well. So they've got a fair few elimination points on the cards for them. It's looking really good. DXavier's managed to move their way up, and they're just sitting pretty underneath Nova. Basically being protected by the bodyguards at the door, who are Nova at the time being. DXavier just wandering in the club, looking good.
Order shuffles a little bit to the left, and it's going to be good. Lazy Boy. Oh dear, he's backed off there. Sliver of HP, just about keeping Cryptics in it. Last player standing for them. 5 points so far in the game. The circle does move away from Nova's position though, Blake.
Which isn't ideal. Again, they still have this high ground to play around with, which is good. They just can't afford to take any knocks. Looking as the backpack behind this pyramid. The tiniest pyramid we've ever seen.
It's not big.
It's a wonder in of itself.
Phenomenal. Nova, though, will have to move back along this ridgeline, right? And towards FaZe, who do have a foothold in this next circle. DXavia, I feel like they're probably in one of the toughest spots, along with Genesis Dogma 628 and everybody else on that northern side who's going to have to move through Nova. But the question is, when do Nova move?
Yeah, smoke's going to be crucial here for DXavia. They want to make it in. Again, they do have a lot of positions to play around to keep themselves safe. But I do think at this point in time, although we're already getting up to 8th place at the moment, DXavia, it's going to be very hard to stop them to get into Super Weekend. Looking good so far in the lobby. 628 have to go against Deadeye, guys. They've seen this fight for a long, long time. Sunan flies over, but will get put down mid-air and come crashing back down to the ground.
Only 2 players for Deadeye's guys still alive after their scrap in the compounds across these hillsides. But they'll keep on surviving. Meantime, Nova now under pressure. Nade over towards Paraboy finds its mark. As Enigma Galaxy are locked in horn combat of their own, but Nova struggling in this warehouse.
Yeah, Lamborghini hits a big nade onto one of the most important players on the team, and now it really is time for the rest of the team to stand up tall, because honestly, Paraboy's been doing so much of the work, and now this is a good test for Nova. See how far they can get out of this one. It was not an easy push for DXavier whatsoever, but that fight has started quite frankly tragically for Nova. And now DXavier have a real chance to get through to the end zones and the end amount of teams.
And in the blink of an eye, DXavier, they now have... Oh, no, sorry. Oh, okay. I was looking at the wrong team. I was like, hang on a minute. Didn't they just have 2 limbs the other second? But no, they're on 3. I was looking at Deadeye's guys instead, who are up on 8, by the way. They've had a hard-fought position here. FaZe, they have all 4 alive, though, and they have the high ground on this fight.
This is going to be an interesting Super Week we're coming into, but it's already an interesting league play with Enigma Galaxy getting so many points here and getting to the end of last game too. They do take 1 down. Now Deadeye's guys can look to get some more, but FaZe will finish off that final player. And with this position that you mentioned before, right on top of the hillside, it's time for FaZe Clan to stand up tall.
They're looking for their victory here. They're looking for that chicken dinner. They've got a really solid spot. The circle goes to them again. Nova once more going to have to leave. DXavier, I feel like they've weathered this storm. I feel like they have deserved to be here now, Blank.
Yeah, the coats have been pulled tightly around them. They've got the hoods up. Well, that hood won't protect you from one nade coming your way. Rabbers takes another. Nova's been managed to get all 3 members back up and standing. Now DXavier slowly have to push their way in, but that Molotov, beautiful, will take down Rabbers. Now just down to 2 for DXavier.
FaZe have got eyes on to DXavier's position and Nova's, but DXavier are going to have to push out first. Oh, if that had gone in the window, that would be curtains for Deadeye's guys, but not quite going to happen. A lot of damage sent out their way, and with the blue zone crunching in just 2 seconds, you need to heal that up fast. I think you can even see the magazines there. Has to jump out, goes down, and does get traded, but the blue zone is there and forces out the fight. Won't go well for Deadeye's guys as they go down in 5th.
Tony K looking ridiculously good. Genesis Dogma still 1 player. It's booms. But not long for this world as Corpai spots him from along the way. I love that shot as well. It's like, I'm safe. No, you're not. He's down. So FaZe now up to the top 3 with DXavier still within this one. And like you said, they have been buffeted by the waves, by the lightning and the thunder. But now they're bringing some of their own into the lobby.
I don't see any way that FaZe don't win this, Blank. I just think that 4 players, all of those sightlines, DXavier going down, getting eliminated out in 3rd. They made it pretty far against all the odds, and now Nova gonna have to leave their building with FaZe controlling all of the ground.
This game for Nova is actually very, very important. This might be one of the only times potentially that they get to this kind of spot in the circles. So Nova without Paraboy. This is their test. They're doing well so far, but it's versus FaZe with 4 players and 11 limbs.
Corpai close, spots order breaking to the wall, but maybe looking to put a Molotov, a nade, anything, and they are just getting burned down. Nova try and make their egress, but they will fall in the face of FaZe. The FaZe clan take the chicken dinner. A great result for them.
Nova just got demolished under the catastrophic weight of FaZe. They look absolutely unbelievable in that match. Yes, they got very lucky though with that last serve, but they headed over towards their elevated ground, which gave them much more chance in that lobby. But again, it's controlling all those teams within those final circles, which is the difficult part. And I will say one thing, FaZe did that fantastically towards the end of the game. Like, it was not easy to keep tabs on absolutely everyone, but I think FaZe had their spreadsheet up. They were knocking off numbers as they went, and it looked fairly simple towards the end for them. So I'm going to give them a FaZe up right there. That was a FaZe up, FaZe thumbs up as well. Good stuff.
Great stuff. Fantastic from FaZe to open that. You're right, there was a little bit of circle luck involved. But not only that, remember that Nova, to be secure, would need 4 of those 6 teams that we talked about not qualifying for this Super Weekend. FaZe was one of those teams. And I say was because I feel like after that performance, there's no way that don't qualify just off the points they've been able to earn. So now they're looking at teams like Bigatron, teams like BC Swell, but these are teams that have only played twice. I think maybe Deadeye's guys is probably the only one that they're really looking at to not really have that chance of qualifying. But even then, they are at risk, which makes it all the more important for Nova to get in as far as they can, get those points totals on board.
Yeah, and I've had a cheeky peek at some future graphics. I'm sorry, guys, the desk. I'm going to steal one of these stats very quickly. But Nova Order had 46 team contributions, so he was doing 46% of the work there, and this is great news. And it's a storyline I brought up very early, is that he's one of the best players on the team in previous tournaments, and it's had to be Paraboy to stand up for them a lot of the time. So it's great to see Order coming back into the fold now and actually doing some work, because he was a player that we all revered.
Well, you stole their graphics. It's only right we give them a little bit of airtime. Let's head back over to the desk.
How dare you? How dare you, Blake? That is made specifically for us to talk about. You know what? Maybe we should take some stuff from them. What we'll take, I don't know. I don't know what we could take from them on the desk.
I have to think about that a little bit. We can just find names for Genesis Dogma. That can be our thing now. We'll start doing that eventually. But 29 points for FaZe onto this one. They had the best position by far, and the fact that they put their focus onto Enigma Galaxy and Deadeye's guys to make sure they had full clearance onto the western edge to then put full-on focus onto Nova was just the best play. It was well executed. It was nice, simple, and well executed. That's a strong win from FaZe. I said it. There's no way in 1,000 years that FaZe don't get a win like that and they just secure it with 14 eliminations on top. Like, that's just what FaZe needed to make sure they make it to that third super weekend.
The landscape made it possible, right? Like, it's just so hard to go against that when they actually found a good timing to clear out teams on the other side as well and to reposition to choke every angle. But this game, guys, like what John said, allows so much possibility when it comes to qualification to Super Weekend. Look at these four teams on the left side. They are all teams that needed to go in because they've lost one Super Weekend already. So this is huge to swing up the leaderboards. It makes that targeting thing, whoever you put on that board, right, for your darts, a little bit more tricky, right? You need to pick and choose again after that.
Well, I mean, FaZe, they've had a second place finish and a first place finish, and they should be now through into the Super Weekend. So some relief for them at least. But as we look down the list here, some teams really not having too strong of a day, to be completely honest. I mean, we're looking at Secret. I believe one of you had Secret as your choice for this match, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, okay. I legitimately did remember. But like Secret, DRS, Stalwart, BC Swell, like teams that aren't really performing too well at the moment. Even Infinity, I feel like ever since I started predicting them, they just not won a single match. But Ventoris, over 1,000 damage done with the 4 eliminations. Well done by him. And I think more importantly, well done by FaZe Clan to really bounce back from that first week and show what they've got. Show they're a team here and that they're a contender.
I think one of the players especially that I wanted to see step up a lot more, and he has been doing so in the last few days, has been Ventoris, and he's been, especially on that Erangel game beforehand, he was taking some really good fights versus, I believe it was Genesis Dogma, and this game too, he was trying to clear a lot of space for the team as a whole. So now you can see, as you said it, Jason, with the amount of good results coming in from FaZe, was 48, they have overtaken the bubble, they are pretty much sure to make it already.
Yeah, the teams below them have 4. That's even more impressive. There's only 3 teams on this front page that have 2 matches played only, and they're the teams that took a chicken dinner: Reject, Genesis, and FaZe.
Guys, you know what's more impressive? We knew they played better with Beer 11, but they brought Corpie in, and it worked too. Sure. So that is huge for that team.
Oh, it better work. I mean, Corpie was here last time. It was last year at PMGC with Power Triple 8 KPS, but we can see the cutoff currently 15 points. BC Swell on 5, Stalwart Esports on 3, DRS on 2, and Secret on 1. Ooh. But I mean, TJB, 628, BTR, really on that precipice of potentially being knocked down, obviously depending on how the rest of the matches do go here. But I mean, there's not a lot of worry at the moment. Maybe when this last match finishes off, as we only have 5 left to play in total tomorrow, some teams with 3 to play, some teams with a little bit more than that. I think that's when the pressure really starts to hit you. And, you know, I feel like it's going to be very hard for some teams to sleep tonight, knowing that they are potentially 1 day away from just never making it into the finals of PMGC.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 2 weeks, you never got to the point where it was 100% sure that if you did not make it, you're not going to make it to the league finals, right? Tomorrow, after those extra 5 games, we will already know potentially a few teams that are not going to make it 100% sure into the league finals. So, as you said, it's going to be very stressful for these teams. You're not going to have extra scrims. You're just going to have to go back to sleep, get your good old 8 hours of sleep, and get ready for that second day, because that is going to be a stressful one for a lot of the teams that unfortunately were not able to perform in this first day. TJB already got 4 games played here also. 628, we've already got 4 games played. They're both in 16th and 15th respectively. They need to show up good at the last game and also tomorrow.
Well, we want to hear your guys' thoughts about a certain question you can see down below. And speak to down below in the question, down below in the stream. You can get rewards in towards permanent items as well. Here's some PMGC tokens. But do you think we'll see any limbs due to friendly fire today? I mean, we only have 1 match left to go. We haven't really seen too many friendly nades come out, but we have seen it.
I've seen a lot. I think
no.
it's Ralph that's been jumping out of cars a little bit too early sometimes. He's got to be careful how you jump out of those vehicles, man, because it happens too often. But friendly fire, not too much. I think maybe Genesis Dogma once or twice, but it's just not too common.
Okay, well, let us know in chat if you think it's going to happen or not happen. And in the meantime, we'll be heading to a break here. When we do come back, we're going to our final match here of our penultimate day of League play here in PMGC.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration and the first steps. I am the Oneplus 9.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back here. It's the final match of the day. It's our second to last day of League play. I can't believe at the end of this match, we're going to have only 1 day left for all these teams to try to get into the final Super Weekend. And unfortunately, I think some teams' hopes and dreams will be shattered because they won't have a chance to make it into the Super Weekend. And obviously, from there on, especially if they're below the threshold, not be able to get into the finals. But we can see here, final match. Erangel coming up. We got groups A, B, D, and E coming into this one, gentlemen. We have not seen a repeat winner today, though we have seen some new winners in the likes of Cryptics. Max, your 4 rivals pick didn't work out too well, but I respect the hustle. I respect the choice. You would have to assume eventually they would get a win.
They will. Right? I mean, eventually at one point, mathematically speaking, not saying my math is going to be correct, but the odds are at one point in time, they will get a chicken dinner. Is it going to be this PMGC? Is it going to be in 2042? I have no idea, Jason. We'll have to see if it's going to happen at one point in time, but they're still a really consistent team, so we have to give it to them being one of the top teams, actually the top team without a singular chicken dinner in Super Weekend rankings, which is highly, highly impressive. But this is it. We got some teams that they need to try and have a good result here, Jason. I'm looking at Tongjiao Bao, especially currently standing in that 16th position. Already played 4 games. This is going to be their 5th. They got 3 more games tomorrow. They need to finish off with a banger. Otherwise, their morale is going to be absolutely shattered here.
Well, we can see a little bit of a head-to-head here between our MVP of Ventores up against Order, and Blank obviously mentioned before, 46% team contribution. But, I mean, to be fair to Nova, it is nice to see someone besides Paraboy stepping up, because we talked about last week. He was like the #1 damage dealer for his team, and in the entire lobby, when they only scored like 30-odd points and were like in 17th place. It's really impressive.
Yeah, the thing is, Order's always been there. I feel like right now it's about the macro that they are playing that enables particular players within the team to do a little bit more work. I feel like there's still a lot of consolidation for them to do. They obviously had a lot of time to prepare for these 2 days. I feel like as opposed to maybe the Xavier that has stayed the way that they were, but somehow worked, Nova's trying to do a few things differently, but that just didn't quite work. So I think there's still some experimentation to do, but they didn't have a lot of games to really test things through.
Yeah, very true indeed. And before we do get to hop into this last match and see if teams will experiment a little bit more, but obviously rough to do considering what's left to go. Oneplus, going to be talking about them as our official sponsor here at PMGC with its flagship performance and immersive 120Hz display and the HyperTouch technology made specifically for gamers. The Oneplus 9 and 9 Pro will help you rank up in the ladder. If you can pull it off and if you can obviously improve, which honestly, let's be honest, if you get the phone, you're going to improve overall as a player. At least that's what I keep telling myself, but eventually I'll rank up a little bit here or there. But gentlemen, 2 minutes left to go before our next match. Obviously, predictions are going to come into this one. And I want to hear them pretty soon, but not just yet, because I want you to really think about it this time. This is one of the few times left that we get to do it together, and one of the few times you get to make fun of me about picking Infinity.
Yeah, man. It's gonna. I mean, Infinity not gonna play every single game tomorrow, so you won't be able to pick them every single game, Jason. But I mean, they had a good day. It's intriguing to see if they can potentially get themselves a win. But predictions are gonna be interesting. And
let's hear them. So go ahead, Maxman.
I'm gonna yoink your pick. Actually, it's mine, Jason. I am taking your Infinity pick. It is mine to use. So I'm gonna go with Infinity this game.
Okay. Tarzan, what about you?
I'm gonna pick Starwood Esports. Reason being, they were arguably the best team in league play, but they have not shown anything so far today. Yes, I know they state to you that they play more games and that really allows things to happen, but they have some very important last games of league play days. So yeah, like I would have to root for them.
I love your thinking there. Yeah, I've been playing really bad today, but I'm going to pick him anyways. I mean, at least you're supporting the team, right? I can respect that. For me, actually, I went with Enigma Galaxy. Not because I believe they're necessarily going to win, but I want to test, do I have the curse now? Is Infinity not winning matches because I'm choosing them? I think we're going to find out. Obviously, also because Enigma actually is a very strong team. I didn't just pick a random team by closing my eyes and point to one. But I'm wondering, Max, has your curse passed on to me? And if so, I'm going to be very sad.
I don't know, man. I still need to sort out how things are working out. I got a right prediction, then I went for rivals. I got 16th. I think it's still a little bit topsy-turvy. It's a little bit all over the place. But we'll see. We're going to test it out and see how things are going to pan out. But I think Enigma Galaxy have definitely improved a lot throughout the tournament. So it's a pretty good pick, also, I would say, Jason. So we'll see if they can get a win.
Yeah. I think the thing is, like, every team that's played here in PMGC is a very, very strong team. And it's very hard to be consistent. But we're also seeing, like, the depth of the teams. The fact that they're willing to, or able to come back after having a bad week and performing better in the week thereafter. But speaking of performing better, we got Cassius here to take us into our next and final match. It's going to be John Allen and Blank once again.
Thank you very much, Jason. We're into the final game of the day. The halfway mark for some. They've already crossed that boundary for some of these teams. Not quite made it there. It's all different numbers of matches played, and it's all very volatile, especially towards the bottom of these tables. So grab your points while they're hot. Blank, feeling hot too?
I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling cool. I'm feeling cool about this game. I'm sorry. It's a calm game right now because it's on Erangel. We're going to keep it chilled out. We're going to get those points slowly but surely. But let's take a look at the standings real quick here, John. Make sure we know exactly what's up for grabs. That last game, we still have 4 teams down towards the bottom of our standings. BC Swell, Stalwart Esports, DRS, and Team Secret. DRS unfortunately not doing amazingly on that last game, only coming away with that game with 2 points total. Team Secret only at the 1. The one that's really surprising though is Stalwart. Yes, they only played 2 matches, but 3 points total is a massive difference from what we're used to from this team. We will get to see them again here on Erangel. We'll be heading down towards Novo right now, but I want to see a change from that team. I think that's the one that, like, things are just not happening as we imagine them to.
I want to talk a little bit about PUBGMOBILE and 628 as well, right? Because sure there's those teams at the bottom that haven't had those points yet, but they've only played 2 games, right? They've still got 6 games left to play. PUBGMOBILE and 628, they played 4 games, and they are still only about 10 points clear of those teams at the bottom, right? They are really very much at risk of not qualifying for this next Super Weekend if things continue the way they are. 628, they're going to be heading out to the west. No surprises there. Probably going to go down towards Primorsk, but they might stop off just a little bit short given where the circle is as well. Genesis Dogma, they're a little bit further down. Back to their old tricks near Milter.
Yeah, I mean, for Stalwart, this is a bit of an awkward playing path, and I think it's one thing they always have to consider, which is when they get this playing path, which vehicles do they go for, and how do we go about acquiring those vehicles? Because I think there's been a few times where they've taken casualties early on in the game versus Genesis Dogma down towards Milter, purely because of Genesis Dogma being able to find them and take shots towards them. So this time they're a bit more sneaky about it, and they're actually able to get across fairly easily. The Infinity, on the other hand, no Sosnovka this time for them. They headed and took North George. So an interesting change to the game here. And I'm very curious to see how the Infinity play out their match from North George. I think this is maybe one of the first times we've seen it that I can recall. But yeah, this is going to be interesting stuff.
A change-up. I am pretty excited about it. I mean, the plane path, sure, but yeah, you're right. It's a big change-up. I am excited. You've got me excited, Blank.
I'm sorry. That's what I do.
That's never happened before.
So, I mean, the Infinity, let's take a look at their rotational pass that they can take here, because obviously at some point they're going to have to move down towards Box Compound. FaZe Clan, we know that they like to head up towards the top of Everest and look out from there. So I'm wondering whether they'll, in fact, even try and challenge FaZe Clan off that position, or just go for something much more standard and go up that north coastal side. Again, it all remains to be seen. This is an awkward way to drive around. You are so exposed in that thing. Luckily for them, they're heading down towards Ferry Pier, our reject, which is a standard place to be. I don't think there's a lot of teams in this area that's going to take shots on them this early on.
I'm waiting to see what Stalwart do on their maneuvers, right? They've got across that bridge. Genesis Dogma and Bigatron in their way. Tough time, tough time. But you know what? Tough time never lasts.
Okay, it's like some weird proverb you've come up with. Tough time,
That's right.
never last. Okay, thank you, John. So I put you back on the side of the street now.
If you didn't understand the reference, it's very niche, but we'll go with it.
I'm pretty sure it's from a movie, but I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt.
No, it's not. It's from like
I'm pretty sure.
It's from a niche vine. I'll give you that much.
Oh wow, okay. A niche vine. Okay. This man's coming from 1968 right now. Okay. I understand. I see how it is. BC Swell over towards Milta Power at the moment. It's sad because I don't really want to even focus on BC Swell. I think it's kind of over for them. It's a sad time. I've set up even like a little candle over here, John, you know, just to, you know, memorialize their passing from the PMGC.
Don't be, oh, come on. Don't be like that.
I'm sorry.
They can still do it. I think.
And you really believe that?
Yeah, of course.
Wow. At least one of us has to, right? One of us has to go against all odds and go for that 0.01% play. That's fair enough.
Never tell them the odds.
Never tell them the odds. I just told them the odds. I'm so
Oh
sorry.
dear. Come on. That was actually quite mean. You told them the
It
odds?
was mean.
They didn't want you to tell them the odds.
No.
But odds on, you're probably right. BC Swell really struggling in this tournament at the moment. Playing from the east side right now, a little bit further south than Team Secret, who we're on board with at the moment, who, remember last time around that this circle dropped on out, they kind of just got shut out on the northeastern side. It wasn't too easy for them to play from this position.
No, and now it's even harder with MS Chumbury as well as BC Swell and also DRS in the mix. Like this eastern push is going to be difficult for them. So, as far as Team Secret, which I'm not, but I'm pretending in this situation because I'm a great actor. I would imagine that they're going to head over towards Severny side and head down towards Tongjiabao's position. I think heading over the north coast is probably best for you here, considering the circle is so centered up towards that north side of the map. Like there's not too many problems that come with heading towards Severny and down through shooting range and trying to find a position there. We know how much success they've had with that rotation before, so I'm curious to see if they'll go for it again. Again, I've been wrong a lot of times today about rotations, but I'm happy to see it. It means teams are making changes and teams are going for something different, which is what you need to do in these final league plays. This is our final league play of the PMGC. You need to make these adjustments if you want to make it in. Sometimes teams get so used to your rotations that they can easily guess what you're going to do next.
I feel like Mello was thinking about trying to set up a roadblock on the position. On the east end of North George Pole, but then again, who's going to be rotating all the way through there? I mean, you know, there's no one else moving through. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, I think John's crashed again. Unlucky ducky. We will see what happens anyway. Maybe he'll be back. Maybe he won't. Who knows?
Am I back?
I don't know. I'm going to keep speaking for the next 10 seconds or so, and then we'll see if you're back or not. But that's fine. Genesis Dogma, you know, rocking up towards BC Swell's position. They're just to the east side of Rozhok for the time being. Emma Stromberg as well as DRS no longer prolonging that fight in Yasnaya and going their separate ways. DRS heading towards the north side and Emma Stromberg over to that western bridge of Yaz. So honestly, both rotations fairly viable. They do lock out Team Secret a little bit, considering they haven't made this early rotation.
Sorry, I'm just getting reset up after I crashed on out. But okay, right, we're on board with MS Chonburi. This is the north side of the river, and these positions I feel like should be all right. All right, Blank. I mean, you've got Tongjibao who moved down from Severny early, and they're now guarding around the other side of the river from Rozhok.
Yes, they're both teams not in the worst location. I think for Tongjibao, that this is a position they need to hold on to now. There's going to be a lot of teams coming their way. DRS, Emma Stromberg, as well as Team Secret in that little lineup they've got going on, the Conga. So Tongjibao, you know, sometimes they have had difficulties holding on to compounds. I think their compound holds have been just a little bit stymied a few times. So this is something that needs to be altered. And like you said, they're in a dangerous and precarious position towards the bottom of the leaderboard. So having a spot like this, which is very central, you want to hold on to this for as long as possible. I do think they've been fairly unlucky. Even just that Pachinki finish earlier today where they were on the eastern side of the fields. And then suddenly they get a massive east shift and they have to move out from that fantastic compound that they were able to secure early. It's really awkward for them. So I would be sad to see something like that happen to them again.
628 on the western side near the Gatka fields at the moment. The circle shifts southwest, so most likely the crossings from the north will have to come through Blank, and those rotations will start to actually come in. FaZe and the Infinity both moving towards Everest positions, potentially a clash on the northwest coming through. The Stalwart have yet to leave the blue on the southeast side after having crossed from Novo.
Yeah, it's been a long time that they've been out in the blue for the time being. I think that, you know, that is a case of having to wait it out. The Infinity didn't make the same mistake, I would say, in their game, where they just moved across after a certain amount of time, understanding that Genesis Dogma are most likely going to make their way into the circle. They take the upward side of Potato Hill a fair few times. They don't hang around farm as well as that east bridge, so Stalwart can get through there fairly comfortably. And I think this time they have anticipated too much instead of like looking at what's happened before. Again, though, I'm not sure how much access these guys have to the map feed, so a little bit difficult. I think for the Infinity, they definitely have identified something though.
Yeah, it's a little scrap around the foothills of Everest. I mean, they both rotated from pretty similar positions going on through. You can see now Infinity in the foothills, trying to play those ridge lines. FaZe a little bit further out towards those Gatka fields. But I feel like Everest is a pretty decent spot in this scenario. You know there's not going to be a lot of teams coming in from North Georgia. You were the North Georgia team. Not a lot of teams going to be out southwest because, well, the plane path didn't really allow for that too much, and the teams that do go that way tend to go a little bit more central directly. So it's fairly safe for the Infinity up there.
Yeah, and I like this play as well, because you know I mentioned they might be going to box compound earlier on, or they might challenge FaZe out for Everest. They don't do either of those things. They wait for FaZe to move further into the circle down towards that bottom compound of Everest, and then take Everest itself. So it's a really smart move, and it limits the amount of engagements they have to take earlier on in the game. So it's slow but steady. And for the Infinity now, they're in a fairly playable position. I think that's where the Infinity shines. I think fair few times, starting from Sosnovka, they don't have the best starts to their games, purely because they get locked out or they're getting shot by other teams as they come in. But the Infinity, once they get it set up, they're a fantastic team and a very scary team, to say the least. So I would say that this might be an Infinity top 5 game, like just off the bat right now with this position they currently hold.
Ooh, that's bold. That's a bold prediction. But you know what? I'm here for it. I like it. I'm a fan.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know,
MS
I think Jason will be happy with it too.
Wait, too bad. Can you imagine if this game Infinity win and he hasn't predicted them for once in his life?
Yeah.
You know?
It would be sad. It'd be very, very sad.
I would enjoy that.
I would enjoy it too. I would enjoy it too, 100%. You know, he jumped off the hype train, jumped on the Nigma train, and honestly, I'm disappointed.
Well, Nigma Galaxy do have a fairly solid position in Pachinki, in a fairly central part of the circle, as it pops out to the east as well. So they get an edge circle position that they can hold until the next shrink, and they can be the headstone, the spit that breaks the waves from that south side.
Exactly, John. I think Nick McAllister have had a lot of success down towards Pachinki quite a few times within the entirety of the PMGC East League. I think that if there's any team that can do it and has the comfortability to do it as well, it is Nick McAllister. They've played this position so much now that if they're making mistakes, it's on their backs rather than anyone else's.
Order on the deck after standing pretty tall for Nova last game. They want a repeat performance. Still got Paraboy alive as well. What a spray down. I don't think that can't have been all entirely him. It was. Goodness me. Order just takes 2 out of a buggy like nothing. Those flushes are coming through as well. Defeats pouring in for Nova, but Genesis Dogma have spotted Order. They'll back him off the ridgeline.
And this is exactly it. We want to see Order step up. Now just 2 players from 4 rivals who have been having a fairly rough day. One finds a shot through, but Nova's also chiming into this fight. 6-8, take another. Penumbra managed to make something happen. Nade over the top side. This could be good, but PC Swell off in the distance.
This is why we call it Headshot Hills, Blank. I mean, just the number of times you were completely out in the open whilst trying to cross this. Those heads look mighty poppable. Nades pouring over the top. Mbura looks for more towards 33Z as well to suppress, just get some damage, get another defeat on board, get some more points for the 4 rivals. And secure themselves in. They're 26, so they're not out of the woods just yet. Mbura just break through the smoke, but Sunown swings out and his lickety-split job done.
Yeah, guess why? Pembura, sorry, gets a very, very nice little spray down and a good nade over the top side to hit 33Z. Sadly, he is all on his own some. So honestly, for 4 rivals, it's not been going great. Currently in this league, placed at 26 points, which is a very, very big turn of events for us for 4 rivals, considering we know how strong they are. Yes, they don't get those chicken dinners, but they're a team that likely makes their way into that top 5. So far, I think that's the 2nd time we see them get a double knock spray down whilst rotating, which is really bad.
Not ideal. Not ideal, but there's still a couple more games for them left to play. Eject, they're also taking pretty heavy fire from the north side from MS Chamburi. All of these positions pretty much spotted out. Dweller moves forwards, wants to get this res. Reiji on the forward position after the knock, but gonna be difficult to make that break. The Infinity, by the way, in the meantime, they swung all the way down to the south. Look at their position now. They're holding those longhouses. Bigatron and Stalwart out to their east as the circle pops down there as well.
Yeah, this gives them a lot of chance, and this was a difficult rotation to make and one that was very smart. It gets them closer towards the circle. Luckily, finally, one of them favors the Infinity here, and they can start to make a break out. They will have to deal with Stalwart as well as Bigatron off towards that east side, but with Potato Hill being staged the way it is, there is a lot of chance for them to get into a position and hold it and wait this one out.
To clean their position, Manhan taken down on the forefront push. Tony K. Does he know that Bamboo's in the building? He certainly does now. Should have caught a glimpse of the shoulder, and MR5 is right up and on board to deal with business here. Bamboo getting pushed back behind the door. MR5 low, but look at that excellent flank coming through from Tony K. They hold the back door as MR5 backs him off. Excellent play there coming through from FaZe, coordinated.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see from FaZe, is that they have each other's backs, and I think that FaZe is one of these teams where, yeah, they didn't have the greatest start of it, but I think throughout the entire tournament, you can't say that this team hasn't worked together phenomenally as a team. Like, it really does feel like they have each other's off angles, they get some really good crosses in, and FaZe are playing well because of it. Nova now starting to make their way over to the Infinity. The Infinity should have spotted them as they're making this rotate, but they swing on past all the way up towards Potato Hill. I don't think the Infinity even hit one shot onto them.
Do they need to is the question. Are they just trying to get ahead? I mean, we'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. Team Secret. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Yeah, there's no way you get away with this. If you've got Tudor loves... oh, he's on the swivel as well. He's taking down high shots. Look at this. The UMP doing wonders, and it's FaZe to put the final nail in the coffin. the defeats pour on in, and Deadeye's guys rack up a healthy point total.
Yeah, very well played to Urulubsa. Honestly, really, really good shots coming through from him on a swivel, on a dime, and that's the power that Rozhok Hill provides you. Having that little outpost on the top of the stairs as well, great position to be, and just completely rips apart Team Secret, who, by all accounts, have been having a really, really bad first day of their league play.
6-2-8. We just saw them come up in the kill feed. They're one of the teams that actually has the lowest points total, coming in with 4 games played. I mean, they aren't having the best of times, as well as PUBGMOBILE, who really started to struggle, apparently, this week play. But Enigma Galaxy, their handling order, they send him up 86th from the game.
I don't know where Nova's going, honestly. They're all over the shop right now, and no one seems to be able to find them. Other than a lot of the teams that they fly past. It's just a case of they take shots, then they hide, then they take shots, and then they hide. And Nova's being completely torn apart because of it, and not really getting anything done. Nothing's going in that shopping basket.
Getting little tickle, but somehow Nova all right. PUBGMOBILE going down here again, not great. 2 points. They were sat just before this game. On, I believe, I don't know if I have the right weeks up. I have to redo my stats. But they were sat, yeah, okay. So they were sat down towards 15 points, the lowest placed team with 4 games played so far. This is going to allow Stalwart, allow DRS and Team Secret, well, not Team Secret, unfortunately, this game, but DRS and Stalwart to really start to put the pace up towards PUBGMOBILE's totals.
I think PUBGMOBILE's mid-game rotations are very weak. Their initial rotation, very strong, getting into a good position within the circle, but then if anything doesn't favor them, PUBGMOBILE tend to crumble. And it really is croissant vibes where, you know, they just keel over, and it's a bad time overall for PUBGMOBILE. So I need to see those mid-game rotations change tomorrow at least, because so far it has not been good. I think that they need to figure out how they want to make these rotations, whereabouts people are playing in the lobby, where the safest places to go are. So far, you know, getting that first initial spot, it's not enough if you're not being favored by that circle.
You want them to emulate the Komodo Dragon, Puppet Master, Shrek Swamp, having Genesis Dogma. That's
exactly
what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I need. I need the rotational maestros from Genesis Dogma to teach them a few tricks.
There's another one. That's 4. We're going to keep racking them on up. But on the southeast side, Bigatron coming into conflict with Reject. We saw a couple of those fights go on. Still, Bigatron have 2 players alive, but they are not out of the woods. I mean, they, again, only have 2 games played before this one, so they do have more opportunity in their future. But they're not having the best of times so far. Deadeye's guys eliminated as well. 3 points only on this game.
I mean, it's still points being put up. Reject, though, very close to Bigatron. I don't even think Ryzen knows that Divine's right behind him.
Ooh,
okay.
He's gonna know about it. He's got to. He's got to be prescient. But the question is, do Reject know about his position? I feel like Ryzen might just be biding the time. He's waiting for more people to peek out. Look at this. I mean, obviously he knows. The question is when. Looks for more. Oh my god. You can't be getting away with that. Divine just demolishes Ryzen in the shack, and Bigatron eliminated almost immediately off the back of it. Reject now have to push through 3 teams right in front of them, so they're not having a good time right now. The Infinity, the Galaxy, you've got MS Chomburi all in the way.
Yeah, Pika hits a big fat negative towards DRS. Rundown comes through as well to MS Chomburi, but Reject's still alive, but barely at that.
Not quite having the best of times there, I think. They might have just been going down. No one's alive, maybe. Perhaps it's all chaos on the south side push. But it's all going to be too much for them. Reject fall finally. The southeast side still jam-packed chocker up the hill.
DRS remain cursed. This is a bad time. I think for DRS, you know, these rotations come through, but they get locked in combat with Team Secret early on, locked in combat with MS Chomburi, and then these rotations just start to fail, start to fluster. Infinity looking really good though, honestly. Enigma Galaxy taking shots from them as well at this point in time. I'm getting close to that top 5 jump.
Ooh. I mean, that's what you called at the start, wasn't it? The Infinity top 5. It looks good for you on that front, and good for them as well to be able to keep on racking up those points, keep towards the top of those tables in those super weekends. Not that it should matter too much, really. Genesis Dogma, again, somehow find themselves on the broad side of this next level.
This is a big rotation from Genesis Dogma as well. They went from all the way on that Milta side down to the west. So a very nice rotation from Genesis Dogma. Again, it's all about putting themselves out of harm's way. And with that circle, they understand there's going to be a lot of teams on the east now, because with the grouping, they're not able to clear out just a couple of teams on that east side becomes free. So they know they need to move over to that west side. So Genesis Dogma, again, another smart play that comes through them, determined by what's going on in the lobby. Stalwart, a little bit more worse for wear now on that eastern side. They still can make a run through. The Infinity taking one knock, but Logan's going to go pick up Newsy, wanting that 4-man power coming into those final circles.
Well, they've already lost one. I mean, they want to emulate it as best they can. On 3. Stalwart, the only team with 4 alive, but they are having troubles of their own. FaZe hitting them on the broad. Tries to stand up, and it looks good for Pika to get the spray down as well. Action has to hit the deck, and Scry is resable. Pika makes the mad dash cross, dodges around, tries to stay alive as Action heals up as well. More smoke being poured on, but
I like
they
this.
want to finish this fight. They want to crash onto it. They take this opportunity to move through and move fast. Action is back to a fightable amount of HP, but his teammates not so lucky. Last player really standing for Stalwart, and you can't do too much more here. ML5 around the tree, caught with nade in hand, but the Molotov burns close, and he is going to get felled. ML5 goes down, but Action goes a little bit lower. Finally, the spray comes through, but FaZe suffer heavy casualty.
It's very classic FaZe, though, again, where they're pairing up as teams, crunching teams together. The Infinity in a bit of an awkward spot now versus Genesis Dogma along the way, who are completely clear of any other players. BC Swell really the only ones that could cause some problems for Genesis Dogma, but as only 2, and with their track record, I'm not so sure how likely that is.
He spotted one, and with the suppressor, she's going to get these spray downs as well. Really nice for Corpite. 9 defeats already. He's looking for more. BC Swell. I mean, okay, what do you do against that? Go down in 5th, though, which is pretty good for BC Swell. And the top 5 dream for Infinity is even better.
God Tunny takes a fair bit of damage and will be taken down by Genesis Dogma themselves. But this next circle, it doesn't really favor the guys from Infinity. Newsy needs to get a knock, he needs to get it now, but Snickle just gets out of the way, but Satar with a ridiculous shot from along the way will pick up Newsy, and now Logan's forced to the edge of the circle.
And the position is completely known, Blank. Infinity struggling behind this tree with the blue zone pushing. Logan, I don't even know if you go for this res, I'll be honest. Newsy going down by the play zone again. They try and make this push, but Genesis Dogma have it on lock. This team is brutally efficient, Blank.
Yeah, absolutely so. And again, it's all down to that rotation and manipulating where other teams are in the lobby. This western side of the map, so strong for them, and such a good understanding of the players they're going up against. Yes, the Infinity, a bit of a wild card for them in this situation, though. I don't think they were expecting to come down from North George. They deal with it regardless. Lord now, last man standing for Nigma Galaxy, but Satar's coming in hot.
Oh, he's rolling him down, and Lord burst up for the...
How is he not dead?
Block. He rolled under the tires there, but Nikhil goes down. The car preoccupied and up the hill. Daybot in trouble now. The Groza getting the reload, but no, there's the swap. Needs to get a reload off now, but Lord pushes in, keeps that ridgeline suppressed. Satar more worried about down the hill. Corpy might just turn his attention up. But these fights have been split in half, Blank.
There's no way that Lord got underneath that vehicle somehow. I mean, he must have, like, suddenly made himself as flat as a pancake to be able to get under the car. Daybot extremely low with the Groza in hand, quickly switches, but it's not enough, and Daybot somehow survives, some way, literally bleeding out as he goes.
But now it's possible for Corpy to stand up. Satar goes down, and now I think it's a 1 versus 1, Blank, if I'm not mistaken. No, Daybot's still alive, as you say, behind that buggy. He knows there's a player up the hill. He knows where the other players were fighting. Has only bandages to right, but he's going to go in the buggy himself. He's going to reposition. He should spot Daybot. Looking for the rundown, but no, the tires aren't good. Sends behind the tree, and he is taken down at the last possible moment. It's Genesis Dogma to stay alive. It looks maybe a little bit more hairy than they would have liked in those final moments, but they style it to perfection.
Why did you get in the car? Why did you get in the car? Oh my god, you don't have enough time to get that speed up to actually hit a clean rundown. And it is disastrous in those final moments. Regardless, Corpy, a really, really strong result there. I think we look back to last PMGC, Corpy on 888, honestly, always that last player alive that was like dragging them through to the Super Weekends. This time, he's on FaZe. He has some really good teams to back him, but still bringing that clutch factor in the end. But Genesis Dogma with a double chicken dinner today is phenomenal. And if they're going to dominate Erangels like this, you know, there is real potential for them now in the finals to hit that first spot.
And that's what they could do without DXavier around, right? I mean, they didn't have to contend with them this game. Sure, they've been dispatching with them before, but they're able to do it fairly consistently, it seems, once they've dealt with that.
And I will say that's really important point to bring up there, John. Ooh, I got a bit of a zigzag on that grenade. I'm not sure what kind of air that thing hit. Very dense, though. But the thing is that with DXavier not in the game, it allows for those quite critical rotations that you might not be able to get away with if another team's in the lobby, like hindering your approach into the circle. Because that's a long Western rotation from them from Milta. Honestly, very, very impressive from Genesis Dogma today. But the Infinity, just seeing what they can do with that North of George spot, where they're able to get into position earlier on, it is much more akin to the Infinity we saw at the beginning of this tournament. And I think it's because they're no longer being held out so heavily on that Sosnovka bridge. That was such a good jump from Daybot. Like, no one saw that coming.
Yeah, no, fantastic stuff. I mean, and remember, he was on a sliver of HP. Like, if he'd been taken down earlier, I feel like Corpy might have been able to win that, having been fighting downhill. But it was not to be. Genesis Dogma stay alive, and they claim yet another chicken dinner. Is there anything this team cannot do?
Well, get me to predict them, I guess, is one of them, because I'm always stuck with the Infinity. Enigma Galaxy not really panning out for me either. But you know what? That was a fantastic finish. I mean, FaZe Clan, Enigma Galaxy teaming up basically against Genesis Dogma. They're obviously not teaming up in that sense, trying to fight against the world here. And they came so close, Corpy, down to that one-on-one that might have been able enough to end things. But either way, I mean, FaZe Clan, they're sitting pretty. They've been able to get themselves through to the next Super Weekend, so they should be extremely happy about this, as well as Genesis Dogma. But what a fantastic match here out of quite a few teams. Even Stalwart there in 4th place, who desperately needed those points.
I have so many questions on that game here, Jason. How did Corpy not get rolled over? I mean, the car just literally flew millimeters above his head and he just barely survived that. I have no clue how that initially works, but he tried to go for the car rollout and try and get to crush the final play of Genesis Dogma. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out. The play that I talked about here, Tarzan, right, was to potentially go into the secondary seat and then go for the spray on your weapon, but he tried. He didn't have time to pick up the speed, so that just made it a little bit tricky, but still another strong performance from Genesis Dogma. These guys are on absolute fire for the past 2 weeks.
I mean, they've only played 3 games as well. Like FaZe Clan, both of these teams are doing it for Group E, not like they're friends, but they're doing it for themselves for sure, and that is a huge statement from that game. But we look at this second page, there are certain teams that still concerns us. I want to talk about Bigatron. We were in the green room talking about this split, as if they don't know what this spot is for the particular split. They did not scout further, did not get the info, they didn't use it for an opening knock. So we've been harsh for a reason, right? So seeing a bit of regression that we don't want to see here, guys.
Well, Daybot here being the MVP, and why not when he closes things out to finish off the final match of the day and get themselves their second victory on the day, which I think is even more important. Genesis Dogma, I think there were some questions around them when they first started to play here in the very first week of league play. They're coming through from PMGC points, beating out the likes of Bigatron. And I think they're living up to the hype, to be honest. I feel like they're living up to be the best team here from Southeast Asia.
Yeah, all they needed, Jason, was a little bit of experience, right? That first week, a little bit on the slower end, trying things out, seeing if their playstyle works, if they have to adapt and change things up a little bit, which they have changed things drastically. And Satan and Daybot are the 2 players that you see play that inherent aggressive duo that allows so much of the success to be in the way of Genesis Dogma. But Corpy is the player that I'm happy. We talked about him quite a bit today. Sure, got a little bit tricky towards the end. They're trying to go for the car rollout, but it didn't quite work at the end. But Corpy, we didn't see him get used every single game, but he, especially on that last Miramar game before this one and this game too, like he's been giving a lot of extra points to the Whale face. I'm very impressed with Corpy. I want to see more.
Yeah, I think there was some criticism. I mean, I personally kind of gave him some in the beginning here of today of seeing like, okay, well, he's playing over Beer 11, and Beer 11 like was a key factor to them having success last week. But to be fair, I mean, Corpy is living up to the Corpy we saw last year at PMGC with Power Triple 8 KPS. But here we go. Here's our rankings from the end of our first day in FaZe Clan. 70 points
in 3
games.
How?
No words.
Dogmo 65. He got 2 chicken dinners. Like, what is happening? This is not even just dominating. Guys, this is not the finals yet, okay? It's only league play. Calm down.
FaZe Clan have had 2 second-place finishes and a first-place finish today.
It's quite insane. I'm actually already looking into the mathematical possibilities from that, because having DXavier at 5th as well and FaZe Clan at 1st, we already have 2 teams who needed to get to the second Super Weekend for themselves to be kind of in the clear. They just need to get a few points, for example, for DXavier. So that is going to switch up the bottom of the leaderboard when we talk about Super Weekends. But second page, we still have, of course, quite a few teams that still are finding their ground. But I don't know about BC Swat. I feel like they're doing slightly better, but not quite enough.
Yeah, I mean, 13 points. As you can see, it's not enough to get them through into the Super Weekend. And again, when we get into the Super Weekend, they have to play better than they've ever played before in a single match, pretty much every single time if they want to catch up and break through. But either way, look at our weekday elims rankings. Actually, Tony K on 12. We haven't really seen Tony K in any of like the top 3s or MVPs, but he's always seeming to be there.
Yeah, I think it was actually in one of our top 3s last game, actually. So these last 2 games have been actually really good for Tony K in terms of overall stats and eliminations and also damage he's been able to bring to the table. But Jason, you know, at the end, we're going to have also our MVPs we're going to have to look at too. And we got so many individual talented players. I had a good idea, and I think that at one point you brought up Tarzan, you thought it was Newsy. At one point I brought up I thought it was going to be Tony K at the start of the tournament. Like, you got so much incredible talent in this tournament. MVP is probably the hardest thing to call at this stage right now, Jason. I have no clue who it might be now.
Yeah, no clue either. I couldn't even begin to guess, and I'm not even going to try to guess, to be honest, because everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have been stepping up. I think it's kind of close between like maybe 5 to 10 individual players in particular. And by the way, you guys watching at home, if this has ignited your competitive spirit, remember there is the PMGC community tournament happening with Game TV. It's open to anyone, so you guys can go register to play and you get PMGC tokens, you get a Google Play card if you're participating. So make sure to check that out and make sure to sign up as well. Maybe we'll see you next year at PMGC and you'll be like, hey, Jason, last year I was watching. First of all, you're an amazing host. I love you. I follow you on all social medias. But you talked about this tournament. We played in it. And guess what? Now we're here at PMGC. I would love to see that happen. Make it happen, Max. Maybe you can get in on this. Maybe you can redeem yourself from PMC from before.
I already tried, man. I'm not. That's why I'm here, right? Is because I failed to become a pro. I think my pro career is already over, Jason. So I'm talking about it and I'm criticizing people from a safe spot. They can't come and attack me. So
at least
I'm
you
cool
tried.
where I am.
At least you tried. I never tried. So I just knew I would fail from the get-go. Tarzan, real quick before we do end off the show today, quick little recap. What really stood out to you?
I'd say for sure these 2 teams on top with just 3 games, and they made use of the breaks they had, you know, through those 2 games to watch, and obviously brought in their strength from the Super Weekend. That is what we want to see, is the carryover of the good stuff. But right now, today's so important, guys, because what are the coaches and analysts going to do? We've got 1 extra day of data. What do we do with them? Right, like suddenly you need the digestible amount. What do you tell your players? Some of them are down, some of them are hyped. How do you unleash them for tomorrow? Because it's a key day.
It's simple. Just say, get good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at the exact same time, though, for our last day of league play. At the end of the day, we'll know our 16 teams playing this last Super Weekend, and we'll finally make our way towards the finals in just a few weeks' time. We'll see you guys tomorrow.